Good evening, Mitakepi. Chantewaste Nape Chizapi. Wabluglushka Woki Hemielo. My name is Ronald Alnish. I'm here from Rosebud Community, proud member of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe. And we're here, annually we do these candidate forums. We think it's, people need to know who you are, what you represent, what your ideas, what your visions is about for the Oyate. So this is your good opportunity. I'm happy that you're here because you show that your heart is with the people. You're truly interested in their future. Good to Michelle. They can shake your hand yet, but okay. So we have actually it's a pretty fair turnout, but I'm just here to welcome you on behalf of Offer. And before we get going, I have a little bit to explain, but I'm going to ask Royal if he can do it's important that he does our welcome, however you want to see fit, prayer, wachakia, song, aloha.
Yeah. I want to say that the song that I'm singing in hockey, our people, when it's used during our community powwows, but it's selecting a committee for powwows, but the words has a lot of meaning. It says, believe image straight, as to come forward in a good way for the people to choose leadership to lead us. So I want to share that song and give courage to all the candidates, putting your name in there and deciding that you want to be on this body and do those decisions for the Oyate. I would like to sing this song of choosing leadership. The ones who want to be in leadership, they're coming to be with the leadership to make those decisions amongst the people. I'd like to share that prayer and that everybody have a good forum and hopefully for run and offer and the election board. And now Wakilo.
We ha yo, I ha yo he yo, I. We cha ke, I yo ke, we che ke, ka we ta be, hey ya pi cha. We me chi na we cha ke cha ke we che cha de ka we ta be hey ya pi cha me chi ela Dakota chapter Dakota ela Dakota hippie we are now chashaki ela taku choya kahekta ke ela te obogla kapi kahekta ke ela ta chukupi kahesum se hoti chapter ela te ogna ela khuna kapi the kahekta ke ta ko se chatke wana bloketu wana mila has ko kiksa pintlo wana khala opi the kai oyate ke welcome the kahekta ke ta ko e wagla kapi ka Oyate ogna woyuk to which I help you, kahekta ke. Watch the chetke hoku chapin below him to hochi chapin. Walk low akule, run, gonna offer, and opaki, let oyate yak puzzle, and I walk low akilo, him to hochi chap below. The doctor Amazonic below. The doctor said, Koya below.
You talk about Royal Council member? I want to thank you for that. Koya always comes through. I can always count on him, as we all can, you know. Since the timer's here, you know, the election board is going to be giving, during the break, giving an update like I've already said. But this is being broadcast over KOYA Radio, KOYA and I, or excuse me, KOYA Radio, YouTube, and RC Channel 93. So I'm not going to say too much more. I'm going to put the sign-in sheet over here later next to me. I'm going to be the timekeeper. I'll have a 1 minute thing. So we will get to look at the 1 minute view, but you know, we got a lot to get through. It's a good turnout here. We appreciate you being here. And so we'll put that here. Just a little bit on that. Before we turn it up to you guys, we'll explain what's going on tonight. I just want to, the personal, I want to say hello to my children, my Takoja, a couple of them, Trish, hello, you know, hello, you know, I got 17 Takoja now, you know, one more along the way. It's such a blessing, they're fun, but very expensive doing Rosebud Bear. So I love it with all my heart. I could never have enough for them. But so when I mentioned my voice, I turned 70, I start falling apart, you know. I was doing pretty good to the, now I got this cane, I'm having hip surgery, you know, then I can't see worth a dang, I had cataract surgery, all these things when I hit 70s, I don't know what happened, I don't know what the heck happened. Now my voice, you know, so, and losing 3 teeth, and I joke around and say, it's not fair because I don't even do a math that I'm losing my teeth, you know. I see that jokingly, huge problem. I'm sure these candidates will be talking about some of that stuff tonight, that illnesses that plague us. The positive, it's not just the negatives that we need to, you know, reinforce the positives. You know, Chris here has done a lot, you know, the younger, all different ages of council here. You know, I've known him since he brought those children back, you know. So that's all I have to say. You guys have a good evening. Rose, do you have anything? Otherwise, you can turn it over to them. Could you say a few words?
Yeah, I was just going to explain a little bit about the format tonight, how we run the forums. And what we do, we've done it different ways over the years. But
Okay.
sometimes we would put the questions in a hat and just draw out when it's your turn to speak. And you answer that question. But we decided to give the questions to everyone. And then the ladies on the table at the stage, they're going to be asking the questions. So they're going to decide which question they're going to give you when it's your turn to answer. And the people with offer are Ronnie, myself, Brookie Whipple Beauvais, and Brittany Gordon. The other 2 ladies are Dominic Harris with the, Youth Council.
Tokala Inaju and Sitombi Council.
Okay. Youth Council. And I didn't get the name of your assistant.
Oh, it's good to see you guys. Very good.
What was it?
My name's Athena Dor.
Athena. Yeah. Okay, so they're going to be picking out questions for you and answering them. But to start with, everyone's going to be able to take a couple minutes in the beginning to introduce yourself to the people and say a few words about yourself, say a little bit about your platform, tell people why you want to run for council, anything you want to say in the beginning. And at the end of the night, you'll be able to say a few closing statements also. So, and then when you get your question, or when you have your 2 minutes now, or 3, I don't know how long we're going to allow you, use it because people want to hear from you. There's been, this is just my own opinion, but there's hardly any campaigning going on anymore these days. Last campaign, this campaign, people used to go out to the communities and tell what they're going to do and get the encouragement of the people and hear from the people. And I haven't seen it. So this is a good time for you to get your word out to the people because a lot of people are listening and a lot of people are watching. So use your minutes wisely and take up your whole time. It's best to use it instead of just, wasting a few minutes on dead air because you need that because election's just a few days away. So with that, we will go ahead and
election board. The election board wants to do their stuff.
Oh, you want to do your presentation
That
now?
would be good, because they,
Oh, okay. Well, the election board is here and they're going to give a little update on the election right now before we get started on the form. Okay, Shakira.
I like my two children. These are my two boys. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody. My name is Shakira Radlingleaf. I'm from Mission, born and raised by way of Horse Creek. My father is Robert Radlingleaf and my mother is Brenda Farmer. I worked in the election office for 7 years and I transferred into the vice president's office. It's a very tough job and we really need to recognize our admin assistant, Malvin Schott. He does a lot. That is a lot of hard work, you know, organizing a whole election, 2 elections, and he's by himself and he's getting it done. But I'll let Joe introduce himself.
Joe Ford, St. Francis Community Election Board.
Kelly Surrounded, Horse Creek Election Board member.
So we just wanted to come and give an introduction and encourage our membership to really get out there and vote. We have very low numbers. I see a lot of complaints on politics, but I don't see a lot of people going into those polls and voting. To register to vote, you just need to be a resident of the Rosebud Sioux tribe and you have to be an enrolled member. You have to be 18 years or older. It's not hard to register to vote. Our general election is August 27th. Polls open at 8 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. I'm encouraging all our voters, pick up your neighbor, pick up your friend, pick up your cousin, get everybody out there and get them to vote because this is very important. It's good to see these young ladies back here. I see some young faces, some new faces. No, Brittany, you're not old. And it's good to see some new candidates out there. A lot of them. Tori's very young. She's my daughter's age. Hey, I seen her grow up. So yeah, it's very encouraging to see a lot of people, different people come in and run. And we got our same people that are sitting in council now. We're happy to see everybody. So please, everybody, encourage your neighbors, encourage your cousins. Everybody, get out there and vote, especially your young. If you know anybody working in the election office, one of the barriers of getting people out there was to vote. They would call and ask us, you know, I don't have a ride, I don't know how we can solve that. I know we did it for state elections, transportation, hauled voters around. I don't see how they can't do it for our own Rosebud. Yeah, crazy. You guys have anything?
Good.
Okay.
Good luck, candidates.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you, everybody.
thank you, Shakira. Thank you, election board. Hey, you guys talking with privacy?
Yeah, we
We got our own.
Oh, you got your own?
We just want those all here. For next year, we don't have many people. Start with 1 or 2. Just so we know how many we're gonna have next year. We plan for next year. Say next year.
Thank you.
What other you want to proceed those?
Just start with the introductions of themselves.
Oh, well, you guys, it's up to you guys.
For the candidates.
You guys, they should be taking over now.
The candidates have been introduced.
We're just gonna start with Berlin over here in the corner. He's gonna introduce himself, right? Introduction.
And we'll go down the line.
Let's try to start over there.
Oh.
Start over here.
Trying to switch it up.
What community of, I did this up there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Berlin Walkenigo from Spring Creek Community. I lived there all my life except for my college years. But I've returned. My father wanted me to return, so I did. And I've been home since, and I've been working for the tribe since. I'm over 30 years working for the tribe now. I've held key positions I've been an administrative assistant. I've been CHR director, health administrator, occupancy supervisor for SWA. I worked for Traveline Enterprise. I just about worked for every entity on the reservation. And in the early 90s, I did my first grant ever in my life. It was the Animal Control Program, Injury Prevention, out of Sioux City, Iowa. So I applied for it because I have a passion for it. And so I did that grant. It was a $45,000 grant. And we got it. And I was so happy. If you ever have written a grant and you received it, got an acceptance, you're the happiest person ever in your life. And if you ever did a grant, you can do anything because grant writing is really meticulous. And every number on the reservation, every member, every household, every dog was counted, every animal. And that's how the grant was obtained. So that was my very first grant. So we did that, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger every year. So we wrote the animal control ordinance. I wrote it, and I had assistants, and we wrote the animal control program ordinance, and then it was passed here in the circle in the mid-90s. So that's how that came evolved, and I am the founder of that grant, of the animal control program. So it started from there. And to this day, it still exists, and I'm happy for it. I'm happy for it. Now I am 57 years old. I currently work with the tribe, and I manage a $48 million grant right now. So it's one of the biggest grants here for the tribe. And everything's been good. All the programs I worked for, we had good audits, and I enjoy working for my people. And I've applied for the council rep position every year. And, you know, because I'm from Spring Creek, I'm never going to leave. And I know our people. And being CHR director, we did a lot of outreach services. We were the second level in the CHR program under Aberdeen Area Indian Health Service. And we received extra funds for that because we did a lot of outreach services to all the 20 communities. And we were more into the patient care. And I'm going to really advocate for the healthcare system because I see we lack a lot of things right now. And we need to put a lot of things in place. We need a voice in DC. We need a voice in the local area, in the state, and Rapid City at the Tribal Chairman's Health Board level. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of stuff at the hospital here. A lot of our own people are leaving our facility to get healthcare elsewhere. And we need to keep them here. And we need to, you know, we need more. Our ER services, for one thing, needs to expand. It's real tiny right now. You know, every year I write a grant back in my health admin days. 5-year grant, a 5-year reporting. Every year, there's 20 to 30 babies born. Multiply that by your 5-year plan. We're going to need more houses, more health care, more needs. You know, every community has a different need, but we're all similar at some way. And we need to really advocate for our healthcare system. And I intend to do that. And we need home health care. We have a lot of our dialysis patients who are home in the 20-plus units alone, cutting their fingers because nobody can cook for them. And so that's going to be one of my strongest step forward is the healthcare system, because that's my background. I've been doing that for, I think, 20 years. And then I've been in RC childcare for a little over 10 years. Now I'm going on my third year with RS2 Broadband Program. So over 30 years, I've been with the tribe. And I've seen a lot. We can do better. We just need the voice. We need teamwork. We need to come together and step forward. You know, it's always the money. Money is always the issue. Every tribal program. And our people need to understand, they probably know it already. Every person on this reservation is a statistic. That's why we have the tribal programs. They're all federally funded. You know, so I wanted to share that part too, because I am a grant writer and I know the ins and outs of the grant. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thanks, Berlin. Okay, Donna, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Donna Hollowhorn here. I come from the two-strike community. I've lived both in two-strike and Spring Creek. I've been on council before, the first time being a District 5 representative for two-strike and Spring Creek. I pretty much, it was a busy time. I attended both meetings for both communities. And that's like regular meetings, special meetings, but I've never missed any of them. So that I thought being part of that community involvement is very important. I've also I grew up with the grandparents and with a lot of their friends, so I was always learning to cater to elders. You know, as soon as someone came to my grandma's house, feed them, give them coffee, and just listen. And if not, you know, get feet out the door, let them talk. I've also been a community youth, a volunteer, probably almost 16, 20 years in Spring Creek and Pushka community. In the younger days, we had co-ed baseball, so we got to be part of the team, be a manager of our two-strike team. Getting older, I was employed here with one of my first jobs was working with it was called Rosebud Housing Authority. I was the accounts receivable clerk, and then we had our first audit. It was one of my first workshops. They sent us to HUD in Denver because we got an award down there. And it was real crazy because I didn't know how to drive. I was stuck here on the res, so we had a co-worker drive us into Denver. It's funny. But from there, I went to college at United Tribes Technical College in Bismarck, and then I came back. Then that was a 9-month certificate. Came back, I worked for Indian Health Service, the dental secretary for about 6 years. Went back to college again, this time for an associate at the same college. Came back, started my employment at St. Francis Indian School, and I've been there probably maybe 25 years now. Went back to college again and at St. Gabriel's got my bachelor degree there. But I really truly enjoy bringing the government leadership. I am a grandmother of 10, and I have some bonus grandchildren, bonus son. I also enjoy representing the tribe when having to go off the reservation. I conduct myself in a respectful way. It's been, I lost my husband 4 years ago. And I thought, well, that's it, put it away and that's it. But my heart brings me back out again and put it away. So that's why I'm here today, seeking support from the Oyate out there. I really haven't been able to go out there and do any kind of campaigning because having to raise grandchildren. I got 4 of them at St. Joe's in Chamberlain, and they were home for the summer, and to keep our family together was to be there, to monitor them, to watch them. But one of the main things that I've seen out there was the violence in the communities. And one of the, I'd like to help with the law enforcement and see what's going on, why do we have such high rate of this and that? And all the other things that are going on out there. So that's part of what I want to do out here. Should I be elected? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Offer for reaching out, inviting me to attend. For everybody that doesn't know me, my name is Ivor Crowley III. I am running from the two-stripe community. I come from the Crowley Bay. My parents are Ivor, the late Ivor Crowley Jr. and Claudette Red Feather Crowley. I have 7 children, and I just recently, a year ago, became a brand new grandpa. I have over 20 years in law enforcement experience. I served in all capacity when it came to law enforcement, from the patrol level to the supervisor level to the captain level to the acting chief level. And I served all realms of law enforcement. I had 20 years. And the reason why I wanted to put my hat and run for council, I feel I can help and better the tribe from every aspect that serves our people. Not only from the law enforcement standpoint, but from everything that's plaguing our reservation right now. We have a lot of issues, but the issue that we have right now is nothing, there's no plans implemented or in place as far as fixing what's really going on here. One thing about me is that when I see something wrong and when I want to address it, I am not scared to speak about it. When you run an entity as such as the Rosebud Reservation, you got to be that voice and not be scared to hurt some feelings, because you're going to hurt some feelings regardless of what you decide or what you choose or what you talk about. When we see it, we all see it. The community sees it. Why is there only certain individuals that get up and speak on this floor when they're all here to serve a purpose? Why aren't they that voice? And I'm here to be that voice, because you know what? I'm not scared of it. I'm here to speak the truth, address our issues, and I've always been that person. And some people don't like that. Some people don't like that I'm straightforward and tell the truth and want to get stuff done. This whole approach to have a meeting, to have another meeting, is getting nothing done for the Rosebud Sioux tribe. We need real life choices that should originate from this body, but never do. They want to have that continuing meeting, to have another meeting, and that needs to go. I've always said it, especially in the last election, is that we lost common sense. We're losing common sense. If it doesn't make sense, it's the best idea ever. And I said it last time, and it still continues to this day. Just back up. I am a U.S. Army veteran. I served 2 combat tours in Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and I'm a proud veteran. And that's who I like to work with, not only the veterans, but the elderly. The elderly, when people get on the platform, they speak about elderly and they speak about youth. I am not here to promise the world to the elderly or to the youth. But I promise you I will work hand in hand and do whatever within my power to address the youth and the elderly problem. When we stand here and we talk about interest. What are your interests from the council level? I have no specific interest. I'm not getting in here to talk about land or sit on land board. I'm not getting on here to sit on law enforcement or judiciary committee. Everybody that sits in these seats should have an interest in it as a whole, not just one specific thing for your personal interest or your other people's interest. And I'm here to say that because people see it. If I see it, everybody sees it. This election time, I've been out there. And I can honestly say, and I said it already, without disrespect, I've been pretty much the only one out there. Every invitation that I've gotten from every community, I've been there. Whether it be speaking, feeding, or just participating, I've been there. This whole election process. I worked for the Rosebud tribe for 18 and a half years. I left. I took a job in Pine Ridge as the patrol captain, second in command. And then I was there for a week, and I got promoted to acting chief of police. I was there for almost a year. But I let the council know over there that I'm running for Rosebud Sioux Tribe Council. That's my desire. That's my wish. That I want to serve my people and get back to my people. So I resigned. I resigned to work and focus on my election and my campaign process. So that's why I'm here. There's a lot of rumors out there. Very disrespectful. Very disrespectful and false. That I left Pine Ridge because I got fired. That's not the case. I left Pine Ridge on my own. I left Pine Ridge in good grace with Pine Ridge. They thanked me. They didn't want me to leave, but I left because this was my focus. This has always been my focus. Last election I ran, I didn't get out there. I put my name in the hat, didn't get out there, didn't campaign, didn't do nothing, and didn't get me nowhere. So I made it a point to get out there, to talk to the people, tell the people, and try to ultimately be that voice for the people. But yeah, like I said, I'm just here. I missed Rosebud, so I came home. But one thing I want to state is I never took residency in Ogallala. I drove back and forth, thankfully using their unit, but I drove back and forth. I have a passion for serving the people. I've been a servant to the people my whole adult life. I don't want to stop, and I feel I could do better as a whole for the people rather than just from the law enforcement realm. So again, I thank everybody for inviting, and good luck to everybody. And I just want to say that if you don't support whoever, just get out and vote regardless. The power of the vote is in the people, regardless of who you vote for. Make sure you get out there and make your voice known on the 27th of August. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Can I explain the background? I said, it turns back up if I do one of these, because we need to, it talks, so if you go to 3 minutes, and I'll probably, that's why the thing went off, and there, that was not 5 minutes. So if I do this.
I seen it moving, so that's why I stopped.
I do that, because every time I get somebody, one time I was talking, this guy over there put a 1 minute thing on me. So please try to do it within 3 minutes, but I'm glad you guys are all here. So we'll, back to you guys.
Oh, you just made the announcement. Yeah, stick to 3 minutes, guys.
3 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Good evening, everybody, all the candidates. It's really good to see everybody. I want to apologize for being late. I was here today with council. First of all, I want to tell you, my name is Lila Kilsensai. I'm from the Spring Creek community, and I've been a lifelong resident of Spring Creek. And I always thought I would leave, but something always kept me home. And you all know that I've been on a political career here with Rosebud Sioux Tribe. And it's not an easy one, but that's where I'm at right now. I have chosen to take a different avenue with my education, and it has brought me this far, which is our Chinooka laws and our Chinoopa way of life. That's what I've chosen for my education. I do have a few college background, and I can't say enough about that because I'm still learning. And it's holding me to the fire, so to speak. I've been on, this is my third term with council. And there's a lot of things that I wanted to do for what I wanted. And I thought, you know, well, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do this as well. It didn't happen that way. And one of the things that has always been in the back of my mind, and I was taught, and I have my family that have been on me and they watch me, is that, you know, you swear and you take an oath to the tribal constitution. And that is the guide that, you know, I have tried to follow. And it seemed like I can tell you things changed within this past year. They have really changed. And a lot of it is social media, technology. Boy, we got some smart people here. And I'm trying to keep up with everybody. And, you know, I sit on health board. I sit on PLE board. I sit on personnel committee. And I sat on social services as well. But one of the things that's always been for me is children and families. We are so broken as a people. And it worries me what's coming in the next few years. The epidemics are taking over us, and we cannot have that. We have to stop that somehow, some way. And the children are the ones who suffer. And it's like there's not enough money in this world that could ever fix what the U.S. government has done to us. We have to fix ourselves. And, you know, I consider myself a public servant as well. And as I sit here, you know, I have that with me all the time. And although I disagree on things that happen here amongst us, I always agree to disagree and disagree to agree, you know. And it's really a intense job. But, you know, my main purpose here is to keep continuing to do the work that's being done. When we're elected here, we work here. And I have a hard time because I don't have an office. We have to kind of change some things, you know, but we have policy. And this tribe is growing so fast. As she said over there, babies are born. Look at how many babies are born. But we're outgrowing ourselves. And we have to find some solutions to bring everybody to the Hochoka, to the table, to the center. And that is a challenge. And I'm going to ask everybody to think about that. How am I going to bring everyone that's with me here to the safe place? You know, politics are tough, but we have what we have to work with. And I believe that I have made some changes here in certain ways. And I don't like talking about myself, but I do my work when I'm on the council floor. I do my work when I'm out of here. We gotta have that compassion. Because if we don't follow our ways of life and our culture, we are nothing. So to me, that's what I carry for my people. One day I'm something here and the next day I'm something else. But I go in there and I don't care what it takes because our people deserve that. They deserve to have that voice. The voice that I have is for everybody else. I can say I want something and I want this. I don't know. It does not work that way. There is no I. It's a people. It's we. And we're bringing back our language. And our language is so important. So important. And I'm happy that everybody's getting on, the same page of language and bring back who we are as the Lakota people, Sichango, Oyate. And a lot of our elders left us, and they took a lot with them. But today, we still have people here who are helping us. Rose has always been in the forefront of bringing things for the people to have a voice. So has Ron. But I really appreciate all of you today and the candidates. I'm happy that people have a choice. It's up to them what kind of government they want. It's them that choose the voice. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm anxious to see what happens on Thursday. We have a clean campaign, and it's really good.
These are really good statements. I really appreciate that, the work that, and just reminding, a lot of the things we're talking about will be in the questions too, if we want to get to the questions. So we can fix the 3 minutes if we're able to. But don't make me the bad guy, I like us both. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I'd like to start by saying my name is Tori Jo Barron, and I'm a candidate for the Parmalee community. I've lived in the Parmalee community for 31 years. The reason I ran for council is because I'm a current employee of the Rosebud Head Start. And in my community, the youth are being overlooked so much. And if it's happening in my community, it's happening in your community. It's happening in all these communities. I am advocating for the youth. And I know that past council reps have said how they were advocating for the youth and nothing happened. But I really am advocating for the youth. In Parmalee community, there are homeless youth from infant to 18 years old. There are moms pushing strollers because they have nowhere else to go, with babies in the bushes, pushed off into the bushes in the shade so that way they're not in the sun. Mom standing there, she's all beat up with nowhere to go. I've been sitting at the Parmalee playground in the evening times at 7 o'clock because if I'm elected, those are the children that need our services the most. They are at that community park from 7 to midnight because they would rather be at the park than be at home. We need to do better as a people, as a whole. Nobody's looking out for the youth, and that's what I intend to do. I'm not here to make a bunch of promises that I can't keep or that I don't intend to keep. I'm here to be realistic. We have homeless youth. We have youth that don't have anywhere to go. Why aren't our community buildings open 24/7? Those should be utilized for homelessness. There should be no reason that there are moms. And yeah, it starts at home, yes. But those young girls need help as well. They were children that weren't reached yet. And there is no such thing as a bad child. There is only a child that has not been reached yet. I know that there are lots of things that need to be done. There are lots of changes that need to be made. And I'm a young person. I'm a young candidate. I'm 31 years old. I don't have all the answers today. And change will not and cannot happen overnight. But I'm moving in the right direction. I don't have all the answers for all the questions that you guys have. I don't have all the correct answers, but I do have a big heart. And that's what it takes to help people. It takes a heart. It doesn't take a master's degree to help somebody. It takes a heart and a listening ear and compassion, and that's what I have. Head Start exhausts every single resource they have for these kids as far as clothing drives. I see little kids come to school with nothing. I would do bus run in the morning. I'm a cook. I'm not a teacher, and I help out with bus run. And when we go to these houses in the morning, there are little kids, infant on up, living with grandma, who they don't have lights. They don't have propane. They're cold when they come to school in the morning. They're hungry. Our children come to school to eat. In the summertime, why aren't we funding the summer food program? Whenever Parmalee does this thing with the He Dog School, where He Dog School tries to feed, and there are children 2 years old on up walking through that cornfield trying to get something to eat. We should be doing something about that. Tribal Council should be doing something about that. Nobody's doing nothing about it, but I will. If it's happening in my community, it's happening in yours. It takes one Tribal Council rep to stand up and say, hey, I want to have the summer food program budgeted in the new fiscal year. I want summer food to be in every single community this summer. There's no reason that children should be walking through a cornfield with their older siblings trying to get something to eat. We have transportation. We have boys and girls clubs in every community that have structures. Why aren't we funding them? We should be funding them. Those should be huge things. They serve a meal in the evening, but why is the Boys and Girls Club only open for a select few children? It should be open for every child in that community. Every single child should benefit from that resource. If we have money to start new programs and do things like that, programs that don't have structures yet, that's beautiful, that's great. I'm glad we're doing those things for our youth. But we should be pouring money into those Boys and Girls Clubs and things like that that have structures already. There's a 1 minute mark, and I got a lot of compassion, and there's a lot of things I want to say, and I don't have all the answers today, but I will stop and I'll cut it short because I know there are other candidates that have lots of things they want to say. But just remember on August 27th to vote Corey Joe Barron for Parmalee Council Rep, because I will advocate for our people and I will advocate for our youth. Thank you for your time.
Guys, keep in mind, these are just the introductions. You'll have the questions and stuff they'll be doing. I just want to tell you guys that there's some sodas and stuff back there. If you want to vote down, if you want to chow down, we'll call up there over here. That's all.
Thanks, Tori. Go ahead, Marla.
You're welcome.
I'm Marla Bolbear, and some of you may have seen me campaigning on social media. This Facebook has gotten a big, now plays a big role in our lives. And so, because I had knee surgery about 6 weeks ago and got a total new knee, I was kind of stuck with rehab, sitting and icing my legs. So I found that way as an outlet to try to reach people. But I'm a lifelong resident from Mills Camp community. I grew up there. My parents were there. I only left when I went to school to Black Hills State University for a year. I came back and I married my Hasani, where we celebrated our 46th wedding anniversary just a couple weeks ago. And I have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. So you'll know my license plate, it's Unchi 007, so that's me. And so I have been in my community and seen as a child growing up the things that were there and weren't there for me. And then growing up the things that were there and weren't there for me. I went to school at St. Iglesias University. I ended up getting my master's degree, and all that time I raised a family, I worked full time, and many of the semesters I took classes full time. And I lived in Mills Camp community, which is a 2-hour drive from here. And so, you know, it took a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, but I managed to do those things because I wanted a better life for my family and my kids. And I wanted to show my kids that if I can do something, they can do something more. And so I wanted to continue on with that. I've been running a Native nonprofit organization for over 30 years. And I've learned a lot of things in those 30 years. And we initially began the organization to help people with disabilities. So we did that for a number of years. We even hosted a conference in Rapid City, and we made sure that we provided stipends so people with disabilities could get paid to be there. And it was awesome. And it was awesome to the point where the last year we had it, people were questioning the state of why they weren't doing more. And the state employees didn't like it, so they all left. And guess what? They found ways to take all of our funding away for that conference. And so I know that we have a long way to go, but I have always worked towards ensuring that the state puts in some money into our people, because they should be doing that, just that. Our nonprofit has been this last year of accreditation, and they don't make it easy for us. We're one of few Native nonprofits that have contracts with the state. We're accredited as an alcohol and drugs provider, and this year we got a 100% rating on our on-site evaluation, and that's not easy to get. So I just want to tell you that I have been working for the last 20 years with youth. I've been working for them. I know how to work for youth, and I'm really proud of these young people right here representing. Every time we see youth, nothing about us without us. That's what I always say in the back of my mind when it comes to our youth. And we need to find a way so our elderly feel like their voice is heard as well. But I want to bring maturity. I want to bring hope, because as bad as things are, we can make it better. I know it, because there's enough common ground. We need to start there. We're all here for a reason. We want to help our people. Let's start there, and let's build on something. So I appreciate your time and the opportunity to share with you a little bit about who I am and what I stand for. I want you to know that I will listen first. I want to hear what the people have to say, and then my voice will be their voice. And I want to ensure that that happens. And I think that's something that sometimes gets lost along the way. So I really want to thank you. I believe in hope. One thing I want to leave you with, and it was a Washichi woman that said it, but it really stuck with me when I went to classes, is that never doubt that a small group of people can't change the world. This council can change our world and our res, and I believe we can. I believe we can do it. So thank you. Opula.
Thank you.
My name is Christopher Eagleberry, and I represent the Black Belt community. I'm 28 years old, and 3 years ago, you guys made a kid's dream come true. For the last 4, 5, 6 people that spoke, it makes my heart happy, because what I've learned over the last 3 years is the same thing that I'm still going to be campaigning on now. That's what I came in with. To strengthen the relationships with our workforce and with our tribal members, so that the respect can come back to where it's supposed to be. And it's an uphill battle. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I know that we all come in here with the same goal, and I pray that, when you guys get into these seats, you remember that same goal and don't lose sight of that. Believe in your dreams and always remember them when you feel like no one else is going to be behind you. Because for a lot of times, I've been by myself in this room. But beyond the point, I know I've done a lot. Like, for instance, I was able to take the Sichanga Youth Council to Canada, and we met with our relatives up north, Whitecap, Dakota, Standing Buffalo, Dakota. And with that relationship that we had, we were able to start bringing back the circle, not just for our nation, but for our next 7 generations, so that they know they have home that's outside of this reservation. They have people just like us everywhere else in this nation. They have this saying at the end of every single prayer that we do called Mitakiye Oyase. And that's all my relations. And that goes beyond just a word. It's a way of life. And that way of life is being torn apart every single day. That way of life is being ripped out of us. The United States government stripped us of our identity in these boarding schools. And to this day, we're still trying to strip each other of that same identity. Oh, you're too native because your hair's long. Oh, you speak white because you have a different way of expressing things. You're either too much or too little. And now in the next generations that come up, they're going to be mixed race. And we're going to have the same issues again. This idea of Mitake Oyase evolved around this room. It's a revolving circle, and our circle's been broken for a long time. We're filled with division. This tribe is filled with division, but that's because this nation is filled with division. And we think we're just like the United States government. And that is not helping our system whatsoever. Real reality is this idea of sovereignty is what's going to get us out of these roots. The idea of Mitake Oyase, our 12 Lakota virtues right here, are going to be what's get us forward, to get us forward. And that's what we've been instilling with the Sichanga Youth Council for the next generations to come up. So that new future leaders will take these positions someday, 25, 26, 27-year-olds, that have a heart like the ones to my left, that have spoken in the way that only a born leader can do. And each and every one of you has that inside of you. Each and every one of you has something inside of you that makes you want to do something big. That's your spirit talking. Because each and every one of us are Lakota. And each and every one of us have that spirit, and I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it in your voice. I'm hearing it in what you're trying to do. And so don't lose sight of that spirit. Because this room will make you lose sight of that spirit. This room will try to do everything to tear it apart. They'll say we're friends. They'll say we're family. But that's just a way to make you lose the trust, not in yourself, but lose the trust in your dream. And so I wanted to share these things for each and every one of you that are going to be stepping into these roles that, you know, I've talked to a majority of you, and I believe every single thing that you guys have told me, because I know that you guys all strive for the same future, and that's the next 7 generations. And that is one of the main rules of our Constitution for us. What rules of order, how we do it. Section 4, council's duties, all the way down to subsection V. Every motion you make has to encompass the 7 generations down the road. Probably only done it like 5 times since I've been here. And that's a reality that we need more people to look at the 7 generations ahead so that we're not having mothers push their kids on 100-degree weathers, so that we're not taking $500,000 to create a program that's sitting right there, so that we're not wasting money. And that's something we do every day, every meeting. And so, 28 years old, you know, I was a product of these SYC kids, and I'm a product of these programs. And I know for a fact that leadership, politicians, whatever this council is, whatever you think it is, the real leadership is out there. The real leadership is the directors that you see every single day whenever you go into a program, because they know the ins and outs of what this tribe needs. And that's the people we need to support so that they can get more resources to support the rest of our tribal members. And that's not happening because we think we know what's right day to day. We're legislators. We're not day-to-day people. Our job is to make it right for the next 7 generations and for the next person that comes into any of these programs, so that they can get the help that they need, not to be turned away because of less funding. And so with that, you know, whatever you choose to do on August 27th, I just ask that you continue to vote. You continue to use your right to make sure that you choose the right persons into these fields. And I'm saying right here is I believe in the next generation. I believe in the younger generation coming up, because as years go, they're going to be the ones that are going to be the new pillars of this great nation. And this nation is a beautiful nation. This nation is so strong. I've seen it. When we brought back those relatives, I've never seen any program do anything bigger than themselves until we brought back those children. And every single program did something bigger for themselves because it was the right thing to do. And we need more of that. We need more of the right things to do for an overall picture. You know, it's easy to come up here and say this and that and this. But the work that goes into it, I say this much. I believe in you. And regardless of what happens to me, I will help you and support each and every one of you because the division is a real thing. Whenever you do something in this room, as I came into the seat, I was upset with the seats, not the people, because the people come and go. The seats are the ones that make those decisions. And if it gets taken personal, then how do you combat those situations? How do you address those situations? Because it wasn't personal to begin with. But for some reason, that's a mental disability that our people have incurred through boarding schools, through historical traumas, something that was instilled in us a long time ago. And that's up to our next generations to start that healing process so that 2 or 3 generations on the road, they'll never have to experience what we're going through now. They'll never have to sit here and wonder why my own relatives don't like me, all because I sit right here. Wonder why, you know, growing up, they encouraged you to do the best that you can. And when you finally did that, as soon as you turn 18 and get into the workforce, you become competition. Why is that? Why do we tell our kids to go off, get an education, and come back and yet leave nothing for them? Because we're scared that they're going to take my job. That's the whole point of this idea of the next 7 generations, is so that they have something to come back to, even if it's at the sacrifice of what we know today, because everyone's going to deserve that opportunity. And so I got my 1 minute, and I think I've spoken on what I wanted to do. But with that, for 60 seconds, each and every one of you new candidates that are going to come in and fill these roles, remember who you are today. Remember why you came into this position, and do not ever lose sight of that. Do not ever lose sight of your vision that you have for the people. And no matter how alone you feel in this room, just know that there are 1,000 ancestors standing right behind you because you are a Lakota. And if you believe in your way of life, you'll be able to feel them in those moments. And so with that, Mitafi Oyase.
You're very observant.
Thank you. Mitaki api, Hakcha Kalapi, Hochila Luta, Machiaplo, Naha Yuha, Chantea Washe, Chiziapalo. My name is Wesley Running Jr. Coming in representing the Soldier Creek community. Lived there 32 years now, going on 33 years. I'm very grateful for Soldier Creek. We spent my first 3 years, in St. Francis community. First 4 years of my life out west St. Francis. And that house was kind of spooky. Out west St. Francis, like poltergeist activity out there. It's a spooky house. And we were homeless for a bit too. We stayed in a canvas tent down in Grass Mountain. My parents are Anna Running and Wesley Running Senior, and I come from my grandpa Norbert Running and Blanche Rubidou. Very grateful to come from Soldier Creek community. They took us in 32 years ago. We had nowhere else to go, and it was Kelly Jones, and they gave us the opportunity, and really grateful for that to kind of come full circle and be here hoping to represent Soldier Creek in a good way in our community. Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I don't do a lot of public speaking, and so I got asked to come and kind of step into this, and traditionally that's how it used to be. People would come and ask for their leaders. The Oyate would ask and represent who they wanted to represent them. And I had enough people come and talk to me and kind of ask me and convince me to put my name in and do this. Because I've worked with tribal land for the last 10 years and protecting our tribal lands as the least compliance officer. And I like my job. I do a good job at it. I'm comfortable there. And I'm willing to be uncomfortable to step into this position, bring about some change. Because change can be scary, but it doesn't mean it's bad. And I see, I don't have all the answers. I'm not coming in here as a know-it-all. I'm out here in the community, though. I work with our people. I see the struggles, all of the homelessness, the meth. And I think all our relatives deserve a voice, whether it's our business owners, our entrepreneurs, our tribal workers day to day, or even if you're none of those, you're just a tribal member still, down to our relatives who are struggling with addiction, they all deserve that voice and that representation. And I hope to be that change in that voice for our people. Come in as someone who's willing to listen, I haven't had a chance to get out there very much. So I'm grateful for Rose and our moderators for allowing us this platform to speak and introduce ourselves a little bit. Yeah, I know there's other candidates with more to say, and I'll address more. If I have more to say, I want to say it and share further questions as well. So I give our other candidates some time to speak. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles DeBray from the Winter Ideal community. Been a member of the community for the last 40 years. It's good to see you guys putting this on and at least a quorum showing up here tonight. But for those of you coming in new, I guess the biggest thing is understanding the process of how things get done through the committees where all the work is done. I sit on 5 committees. I guess attendance is probably the biggest thing. Showing up, having meetings, getting stuff done. I really don't say a lot much. Just all about getting stuff done. I've been working on stuff from building codes, from land issues, judiciary issues, education, enrollment. A lot of stuff going on. It's not just one day a week. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 days a week. It's a big job sitting here. Yes, my parents would be Charles DeBray Sr. from Rosebud here, and Rose Mendoza, Chase Knock. Grew up traditional my whole life. Went to Winter High School, graduated, went to Sente. Worked in business for the last 14 years since I got my seat here, but this will be my second term running here. So again, I'm asking for the support of the people I'm here to work. That's basically it. I don't have a lot to say, but it's getting late and I still got a long ways to go home, so I'm gonna try to keep it short and simple.
A log tractor.
Yeah.
Well,
Stop the timer.
My name is Michelle Hollander. I come from the Grass Mountain community. I am the daughter of Dwayne Hollander and Lorraine Celeste Stone. I grew up in the Two-Strike community. So that's where my dad and the Hollander and Teoshwe was originally from, and my mom moved us to Grass Mountain, where I've been since I moved back onto the reservation. This was my first term on council. I am currently seeking re-election for the Grass Mountain community. And I feel like, well, I'm on 4 different committees: Judiciary Committee, Personnel Committee, Governmental Affairs Committee, Economic Development Committee. I also sit on the Sioux CDC board. I'm on the Millwood Committee, which is the advisory committee for the Oyate Health Clinic in Mission, or in Rapid City, sorry. And I'm also on the board of review for the Rosebud Casino, so just been really keeping busy and just feel like there's so much work that still needs to be done. And I know that a lot of people come in here with a goal and intention on what they want to do. And I guess I just want to say that it's not easy. You're only one voice around the table with 20 other people, and sometimes we don't always agree. So it's not easy. And coming into the position, I guess I was never really into the politics of the tribe up until people were reaching out to me as well, asking me to put my name in and run. And so I did, and I had a crash course. It was not easy at all. You come in and there's so much work that needs to be done, even onboarding new representatives on procedures and not even knowing even down to when your payday is. I mean, you just come in blind. So it wasn't easy from day one. I'm happy to see all the new faces and even the old faces. And I look forward to seeing some good positive change within our tribe, because it is really needed. We do have to plan for the next 7 generations, and I feel like we are in a meth epidemic, and it's taking so many of our families. I think every single family is affected by meth. And I think that that's the root of all of our problems on this reservation, and our law enforcement is so short, and the healthcare is so bad. I mean, there's so many issues that need to be taken into consideration, and a lot of times we don't get all of these things done, even in committee, even around the table, because we never get through a full agenda. So I guess there'll be some stuff to answer in these in regards to all of that. Is that my alarm?
Sorry about that. I didn't get to do what you need to say. I want to hear what you have to say.
Anyway, just glad to see everybody here, and I hope that we get our numbers up in votes. A lot of people need to vote, get our numbers back up there. Thank you.
Everybody, I'm here for Shelter Community. I currently hold the Sioux Council rep for Shelter Creek. My parents are Valerie Craysville, Earl Wilcox. My biological dad is Howard John Fuller, which a lot of you guys do not know that about. My grandparents and my mom always told me that if you're going to run for council, make sure that you understand your laws when you're coming in. Take the time to read and educate yourself so you're not going in blindly. And they pretty much prepped me. I hate to say that, but I've had a lot of discussion with my mom and when she was alive and my grandfather. And I watched them participate in a lot of our community stuff and our activities. My mom was the chairman for a lot of years. She also sat on council. When she was chairman for our community, she brought in, the first Head Start. We had summer food down there. We did a lot of things for our youth that, I participated in. I helped, with everything, pretty much everything since I was younger all the way up until she quit running in 2019 because she had cancer. And she did lose her battle, and sadly we lost her 2 years ago. But working with your community is always a positive. And sometimes, to be honest, I wanted to work really closely with my community, but we didn't have a lot of meetings. I wanted to see our youth, be able to come back in and do activities and things like that along with our elders, because we used to have things there for our elders as well. And we haven't seen that for a lot of years. So whoever takes on our chairman position for our community, I'm looking forward to working with them if I get reelected. Something I wanted to clear up, there is a lot of rumors out there. There is a lot of things being said, but I know I wasn't voted in the first time around, and even some of my colleagues sitting here couldn't understand exactly what the election code means, or how the process works like that. And this recent election, we had some challenges that happened in some of our communities. Like for instance, there was one community that had 4. They had some challenges. Now there's only 2, and they automatically advanced to the general election. There was one individual who was running uncontested. And whenever I came in, there was a challenge on the candidate that I did, that put their name on the ballot, same as me, and they were found ineligible to run. So since I was uncontested, the only one on the ballot, then I was automatically seated. That's how our election code runs. And, it didn't cause for a new primary. It didn't cause for, a hold on in general or whatever, But that's stuff that, when you come in, take the time to learn and understand your codes, your laws, your everything, because I sat, on the other side of this chair for a lot of years, and I didn't like, how our tribal employees were treated. I didn't like how our grievance process goes. There's a lot of things that I didn't agree with. And sitting in this seat and seeing how hard it is to actually bring change to some of those ordinances, to open up, the eyes of, some of my colleagues, the people around this table, for fairness for our individuals, not just our employees, but also our tribal members. And it goes, straight to the court, straight to law enforcement, straight all across the board. Because I see our scales of justice as always being tipped in the favor of politics, and I really do not agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. And you see me on council, you see me ask questions, you see me speak up, and I answer my phone. So a lot of times, I'm speaking off of what our tribal members would like answers to. They want to see change. And I tried to bring that change. There's a few of us. And one of the things that, I see a lot of questions here from the youth. And, I'm really thankful that you guys came and all that, and you're participating, because, eventually you may sit here, you might be a part of this tribal council and making decisions on behalf of my grandkids. But one of the things that we discussed in one of our committees was the youth affairs program. We used to have a youth affairs program here. And that youth affairs program, they went to different communities, they did a lot of events, and we wanted to see that collaboration with all these other services that are being provided, because As many years as I've lived in Social Creek, I've never once seen anyone come down to my community or the outlying communities and try to bring those services there. So this program will help, with those services along with, counseling, mentorship, things like that. And one of the other things that, I know that our tribe really desperately needs is that civil rights office. And my colleagues and I, we got that together. Hopefully it starts up in 2027. And that is a huge accomplishment. I really hope that it goes forward and they actually open that office up because it is desperately needed here on our reservation, not only for the tribe members, but for our employees as well, because that process is broken. And I'm really adamant about fairness, unbiases, and consistency straight across the board when applying, our laws and whatnot. But coming into the seat, yes, it's very, very hard because you want to see stuff done now, not later, but it takes time. And it's very, very frustrating. And, you have to have very thick skin, trust me, because I noticed that, just sitting here or even getting up and speaking or even like on social media, there's things said about me, but those are opinions. Everybody has a right to an opinion. I seen a picture of me shared out there, and I'm like, wow, okay, but that's fine. Because we don't, personally, like, we don't see Kristi Noem, we don't see Trump, we don't see all those ones, lashing out at their constituents or even, the people that they represent and all that. And why do we need to lash out on our own people for having an opinion about us? If they don't like us, that's fine. But, because there's some, maybe I don't like somebody, but that's okay too, because I still represent them. I'll still treat them fairly, and I'll still help them. If they call me, I'll tell them where to go. And because there's services out there. And so, yeah, it's really difficult sitting here because you are judged. And some say you're not doing the right thing, but look at my attendance. I've been to just about pretty much all the meetings. I think I've only missed 5 or 6. But I've been here. And I've been that voice, whether it's liked or not. I'm open to suggestion. Okay. Start that arms. Okay. All right, well, I'll sit down. And
I used to be that.
I'll sit down and I'll let Tammy take over, but, all right, see ya. Thank you.
Amatu washte uyaka chiwe macha kisho. Tonte washte na fe chiu za fe bopila. My Lakota name is Dancing Feather Woman. My English name is Dr. Tammy Keller. My parents are Richard and Kathy Keller. My grandparents are George Keller, Mina Conant, Irene Richards Claremont, and Jack McDaniel Sr. I graduated Todd County. I grew up in Colorado and I came here my junior and senior year. And it was a culture shock. I came here every summer. I hung out with my cousins. I came to every Rosebud fair growing up and just loved it. And then when we came here, I saw that crabs in the bucket mentality, and that hurt. And I've always wanted to bring a light, happiness, cheer, pep, hope, and that's what kind of motivated me. Growing up, I always heard, go get educated and come back. Oh, I did that. I went and I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science at SDSU. And then I came back and I started my job as a protection order clerk, and then a suicide counselor with Wachoni-Wakan Health and Healing Center, and then a behavioral health specialist with Head Start. While I was going through those, I decided I want to go for my master's. And I didn't want to do just one master's, I wanted to do a double master's. So I went for clinical mental health and school counseling, and I landed a job at Todd County High School, the school I graduated from. And that was an experience from an adult point of view, from a teenager to an adult, and to see it all, see all the drama, but not be involved. And working with the kids and helping them, finding what they needed to be an adult, to be a productive adult, and what that meant. And it took time and dedication and stalking each student and making sure that they made it. And I may have some weird tactics from now and then, and those of you who remember me in school, you remember those stories, but it was always positive, and it always pushed you to do better and be better because it was in you. It was definitely something, it's in all of us. I started working after the high school. I realized we really needed more hands-on, more mental health. We are #1 in suicide. We are ranked #3 as worst place in the nation. Looking at statistics and writing papers on this, it hurt. But at the same time, as a Lakota, I felt it. When you feel that drum and you hear it opening up your heart, that's what kept me here. That's what I wanted to help my people. I wanted to be a part of my people. To this day, people, you're a doctor, go move, go leave. I don't want to leave. I want to be here. I am Lakota and I am here. I have this fight in me. I have this fire in me. I've never fought in my life, never fought anybody. I use my words. We talk it out. I'm a mediator. I'm also a grant writer. We talk about funding. When I was at Todd County, I wrote some grants, and I got to, I always said kidnap kids, but I didn't kidnap them. They all had permission slips. I took them to trips. We went to overnight colleges. I showed them, hey, if I could do it, you could do it. You know, as I became a therapist and kind of worked my way and listening to the individuals of what's going on, my specialty was marriage family therapy. We say, Mandakyase. We're all related. Well, marriage family therapy is systemic thinking. Everything is connected. It's not just one person's issue. I spent 7 years at Sichanga Vocational Rehabilitation Program helping people with disabilities get jobs and keep jobs. And within that, I realized it's not just that person that's having that hardship. That person has kids. That person has families. It's not just them. You have to help everyone around them. There's a saying, it takes a tribe to raise a child. That is very true. We together have to do it. We have to take it on as a battle. It's not between you and I. And in this council, in this chamber, we're not arguing about, oh, she got the prettiest hair. It's not that. It's what strengths do we as individuals bring to this table, and that's what I'm bringing. If I have to bring the motivation, that hype, that hope that we can make the change, maybe stop the fighting, and let's focus on what we can actually do at hand, and maybe keeping on track. That's the sergeant of arms, but that's where I'm coming from. That's where I wanted to stay here. I want to make a difference, and I've always felt that. I'm very dedicated. I'm not shy. Oh, I got my 1 minute now. I thought it was going to be short. Oh, I got to think of more.
That's why there's the house.
I'm not shy. I'm out there. I'm still learning. A doctorate is not stopping me. It's actually motivated me to go back to school. I'm working on my SOBA, and then I'm going to go back to school to be a lawyer, because obviously being a doctor isn't enough. And so I just can't stop. And my heart is there. And I hope you feel it. I hope you see it. And I want to lead by example. That's the other thing I want to end on, is lead by example. If you're going to take this chair, if you're going to stand and be a leader, you need to be the leader, and don't be scared. Say what you need to say. And I can't wait to get on council, because I'm going to say what I have to say, and it's going to be beautiful. Let's make our tribe beautiful again.
Thank you.
That was very good, candidates. A lot of the things since there's such long introductions, I don't see a problem with it because a lot of the questions that would have been asked of you, you kind of covered them, but we don't have a lot of time. But I did want to let people, anybody that's watching on YouTube or Channel 93 or listening on KOYA Radio, that's the thing, podcast. This is Prosperity. You can watch this tomorrow, tell some of your people that they could check out YouTube. Hey, you can see where I stand and everything, so that will always be there, Even though it's not on Channel 93 in KOYA, they'll listen to that, but they'll always be on the YouTube. So I want to thank RST Communications and the IT department. I'm Ronald Neese, our offer organization. This is what's become our roles, kind of our annual candidates forum. We also do like Cherry Todd, we do cooperative boards, we do different, what people see as traditionally running for a tribal office, administration offices, or national, state. Well, we have to control our sovereignty means we control our destiny, those cooperatives, those county commissions. City dog catcher, run a tribal candidate. We need to control, sovereignty controls everything. So that's what our purpose is. And Rose is a coordinator, a co-coordinator. Paula Antoine can't be here. But I also want to think it's important that we thank B.B. Long and his crew, for the general operations, the God people, general operations department, God, so I would want to thank them because we can do that with all them and the council themselves, for allowing us the use of this building, this council chambers. To me, it's kind of wakanda in a way, because, we want everything goodness to come out of this here room, and you guys are here to do that. But I just want to mention too, we don't have a lot of time. Maybe we'll go out the quarter after. So I'm going to turn it back over to these young ladies. But the food is there. If you guys want to help yourself, just don't be shy. I'm going to ask general operations to come and fix some stuff. Poor Royal left. I wanted to get him a plate, but I don't know where he went. But that's all I got to say on that. So if anybody wants to help himself, go ahead. And I'll turn it back over to you guys and proceed however you guys see fit. Brittany?
Okay, we're gonna let the youth council ask the first question. Are we just gonna go down the line, Rose? We'll start with Tammy over here. Where's that picked up?
This one? All right, go.
Can you hear me? How do I know it's on?
They should be able to hear.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dominique Harris. I'm the project coordinator for Takala Inajo Youth Leadership Mentoring Program, and I also oversee the Sichanga Youth Council as one of their mentors. The first question we have for you is, what is one commitment you are making that you can realistically accomplish if you are elected during your term, and how can we hold you accountable for holding through with that commitment?
One of my biggest commitments that pushed me to put my name in the hat for running was our grievance and ethics. Those need to be, they are established, and I use these quotes because I've seen it firsthand not work, not be there, be totally ignored, and that's heartbreaking for our tribe. If we can't even complain to the proper chain of command, and it's who you know, I'm tired of that. It should not be who you know. There's another saying I say, but I don't think I could say that on YouTube Live here, but I'm tired of that. It should be what you know. It should be the policies. It should be the law, the ordinances that should be backing you up, not who you are. And that is something I want to wholeheartedly focus on, is ethics and grievance, and make sure that that is properly working. Thank you.
Next,
Tammy.
Tammy. Yeah. The other Tammy. Do you want to go, Brittany?
Sure. If the community demands stricter ethics rules, term limits, or salary cuts for council, would you vote yes, even if it directly reduces your own power or income?
Okay, repeat the first one.
Which number is it?
One.
Oh, it's the first one, yeah.
Yeah, one.
If the community demands stricter ethics rules, term limits, or salary cuts for the council, would you vote yes? Okay, I have some stuff to say. If the community demands stricter ethic rules, will I vote yes? It depends. It depends because, we do take direction from the people, but when we sit here, we represent all. And if your community wants you to support something that is against the ethics or against, an individual who might be doing something that's unethical, but because they support that person and want you to support that person, I would have to say no, because you take an oath to uphold your constitutional duties, you take an oath to uphold ethics, and you take an oath to make the right decision. So if my community tells me to support something that's highly unethical, then I can't do that. I am for changing our ethics rules. I am for term limits. And the reason why we have term limits now is because people keep getting it over and over and over. And you call that, what do they call it, the Hill, lifelong legislators, to be nice, but sometimes that doesn't work because our tribe is in a position where, you're at a standstill for a very, very long time. Nothing advances because people don't want to change. And change is always a good thing, and it's scary, but it needs to happen. And changing our laws, changing things to, help our people, to me, is priority. Salary cuts. I did take a salary cut to come here, knowing how much council makes, and everybody is so scared to announce council salary and everything like that, but our budgets are public. They should be published in the paper and made public, but council, is it okay for me to say how much we make a year? Yeah. It's like 66,000.
They're required to under the Constitution.
Yeah, it's like about 66,000 a year. And then it goes higher with the seats that sit right here. But, salary cuts, yes. Because I already took one coming here. The other question is, reduces your own power or income, what do you mean by power?
Like, let's say that they said, well, you know what, we want you to have at least a 2-year degree. Or we want to make sure that you speak Lakota, at least you have two semesters of Lakota, so you prove that you can understand how the Lakota people think. Would you go for that, even though it's going to make it harder for you?
I think we should have some guidelines to sit in these seats. I think we should have guidelines to sit in these seats up here. I think if you're gonna run for a position up here, you should at least know some accounting. You should at least have, supervisory skills. You should at least have something. Whether it's an education, or knowledge and experience, years of knowledge and experience in lieu of that education. But you should know what your duties are, and you should know how to do them correctly. And
Keep that for next year.
I honestly think that term limits sometimes really things to happen, but as it is right now, you can run 2 years, sit out a year, and then run again. But I also think that sometimes the limit to the council needs to be a little bit 1 year more maybe, because when you're sitting here for 3 years, you don't really get to push everything, that you want to see changed forward. I mean, I only sat here for 2 years. And in those 2 years, it was really hard to actually, try to bring some changes forward, but we got some done. But that's my answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have the youth, question for youth councils?
Here.
After you guys eat, you're supposed to go grab a plate. So grab yourself a chow. I just want to mention, Rose bought this stuff, most of the stuff out of her pocket. She don't want to mention, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Because I appreciate that. We don't get paid for this or anything, but thank you, Rose. But Trish, Dad bought the soda. My daughter said she liked it, so bought the soda. So Trish, Dad bought the soda. That's all.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello. My name's Athena DeWolf, and I'm a youth outreach specialist for the Tocala and Agio Youth Leadership Mentoring Program. I'm also a member of the Sichunga Youth Council. The youth would like to know how tribal leadership involves the youth in creating solutions for gun violence and suicide, and how will you make sure our voices are actually led to change?
Is it number 4?
So we kind of put 3 and 4 together. Number 3 and 4. Just kind of combined it in one question.
Okay, what's the question?
How will tribal leadership involve the youth in creating solutions for gun violence and suicide?
I think that was one of the, well, not so much for gun violence and suicide, but there was some intention behind creating this Sioux youth that came forward in governmental affairs because of, I guess, the lack of involvement when it comes to youth. So that was one of the intent behind that. Sorry, I haven't, my being in this seat that I'm in now, my focus was through judiciary and I guess economic development, so that would be something for you to learn about as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, all right. Okay, Charles, how will you handle a situation where federal, state, or outside business interest pressures you to compromise tribal sovereignty? That is number 3.
Tribal sovereignty is something we don't give up or give away for any amount of money. Once you give that up, we're pretty much not sovereign anymore.
Thank you. Yes.
Wes, how do you plan to handle peer pressure from other council members when voting controversial issues? Number 6.
By remembering what you're coming in for, and also, this as myself, someone coming in with no agenda, no vendettas, I think you're able to kind of stand on your own and make your own decisions then without taking that peer influence from others.
Thank you. Thank you.
Question number 2, why should young people trust you to represent their future?
Why should young people trust you to represent the future? That's a really good question because literally 8 years ago, I was that young person. Back in 21, when we came back with those kids, we had us all lined up and we were given a report. And while we were given that report, I was still a part of the Sioux Youth Council. And for some reason, the council rep wanted to argue with us to tell us that what we did was cool, but we did it wrong. You know, what we're doing now, she made us feel really guilty about bringing back those children. This council, as an endeavor, is not just one person though, and it's the whole body. So one thing that I took to heart in that moment was I never wanted a kid to experience what we experienced in that moment. I never wanted a kid to come in here and be derailed by this tribal council. And it still happens. And I don't know how to get that across to the much bigger picture, but I know that as long as I'm alive, regardless if I'm in here or if I'm out there, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to show up for every child out there. Because we are children at the end of the day. We are all children at heart at the end of the day, still trying to not only heal our child that's inside of us, our spirit, but so that the next 7 generations, let the next generation, let's just start there. The next generation does not have to experience what each and every one of you have experienced so far in this room. And so, why should young people trust you in representing the future is because whenever it's their time to come up, I'll gladly give them everything that they need so that they have the tools to represent this place in the same way that the person who held the seat before me gave me the tools to represent my community in the same way too. And interacting with them, making them a part of something much bigger than themselves, and to wake up the spirit so that they'll understand that they have just as much power as anyone else in this world, if not even more powerful. Because when a youth wants to do something and people actually listen, they'll get it done because they have all the right solutions. Mentoring, being a part of SIC and continuing to mentor the next generations to give them space so that they feel safe, so that they feel at home. And I know that currently SIC doesn't have that placement anymore. I understand that you guys have been put in one spot at Bristol Ranch, but then you were kicked out of there. So then you fulfilled a new spot to give you guys the opportunity for youth to come in and have a safe space to spend the night, to do whatever they need to get away from their home. And unfortunately, that storm took your new building that you guys got out. So now I understand that we're in a rebuilding phase. But with every great change comes something uncomfortable, like Wes said. And I know that because we're in an uncomfortable situation, we have an opportunity to work for the bigger picture for the next generations. And so, yeah, I'm a fighter for those next kids. I'm a fighter for all those kids that come up that have a dream. Because I don't want this place to tear apart the dream, whether it's in here or out there. And all they need is just someone to listen to. All they need is just someone that give them the empowerment, to give them the love that they're not finding at home. Because each and every one of us has experienced that in our lives, historical trauma. But regardless of everything, listening to each and every one of you speak, I know that each and every one of you has the right tool that can make something like this, not just for one individual, but for all of us, that the next generations that come up, will be strong. They'll be stronger than any of us in this room combined. And so, yeah, I am my kids, and my kids are me, and without them, we wouldn't be here. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marla, when you disagree strongly with a powerful or highly respected council member during a live meeting, how do you handle such tension? Do you speak publicly, or would you handle that behind closed doors?
I think anytime with respect, that if you have a disagreement with someone, you do that privately. Like, I'm 65 plus, if I would talk to someone younger, I would take them away privately. I wouldn't do that in public. And nor would I have a disagreement publicly with an elder, someone that's my elder. I think those individual things need to be worked out so that unity can come across, so that we can find that common ground. And that means that we need to work some things out, and that's okay. But I think the important thing is that we come across as a council as a unifying entity that brings people together and then takes that unity and turns it into action. That's what I want to see. And I think with respect and kindness And like I said, a level of maturity, I think that I feel like I've had a lot of life lessons that have showed me that it's first you have to show up, but then you have to be respectful. You have to be respectful. So I think those two things, I think, are really key.
Thank you.
This would be question number 8. How will you strengthen the relationships between tribal government and the Oyate and the workforce for the benefit of the next 7 generations?
Sorry, that one's handwritten. Well, it starts with building a better future for the next 7 generations. Right now, I'm a strong advocate for the youth, and that's what I'm gonna keep advocating for. And right now, if we're gonna build a better future for the youth, then we need to start focusing on the youth. Our youth are suffering every day. They're leaving us every day. They're choosing to leave us every day. And if we're gonna better our tribal government and for the Oyate, better our relationships between us, tribal councils, our tribal government, and our Oyate, and our workforce and our youth, then I think it just starts with the youth. We gotta start having more youth activities. We need to have baseball, basketball, fishing, volleyball, talking circles, things like that. I don't know the quote exactly, but it's a Sitting Bull quote, and that's what he says, is we're building a better future for our children, and that's where it starts. If we have more youth activities, that builds friendships, not just in one community, it builds a friendship between the Parmalee kids and the Rosebud kids and the Mission kids. A friendship today could save a life tomorrow, and our youth they need that. If they're building friendships if the Parmalee community kids are building a friendship with the Antelope community kids, then maybe whenever they become 16 and 17 and a fight or a conflict breaks out, maybe it won't be as dire as it is right now. Maybe it'll prevent that conflict from breaking out. I think that it starts there. If we're gonna build that relationship between the tribal government, the Oyate, and the workforce, it starts, for our youth, it starts with those fishing activities, youth activities, talking circles, so that way our children can express themselves, because kids can't express themselves at home, so they keep it bottled up. They can't express themselves at school, so they keep it bottled up. They try to express themselves at school. Some confide in teachers, and that's good. But I really think that it starts with activities for our youth. Give them something to look forward to. We should be having Easter egg hunts. We should be having Christmas parties. We should be having Halloween parties that are coordinated not by our community officers, but by our tribal council reps. Because when those events are coordinated by our community chair people, families get left out. And when families get left out, kids get left out. And that's what hurts. It hurts a child to be left out. If it's one thing I've learned working with children, it's that you leave no one out. Everybody's the same. I really think that would be where it starts. By having youth I'm a little nervous. Everybody turned and looked at me. But I think that's where it starts. If we're just sitting around talking and hanging out, just like we are right now, it builds friendships, it builds confidence, it builds security, it builds routine. Letting the child next to me know that he's going through the same things that I'm going through, just maybe in a different way. Just because you come from a 2-parent household doesn't mean you're not struggling. Just because grandma's raising you doesn't mean that you're less than the person that has a 2-parent household. We're all one, we're equals, and our children need to start feeling that. If we're gonna build a better strength between us and them, that's where it starts. We need to actually start doing stuff for them. We need to actually be there for them. Nobody showed up for them on Youth Day. They had no power, they had no water. 20 council reps and no one showed up when they have the authority to have that stuff turned on. Why wasn't anybody out there? Don't they have children out there? Do they have anybody that was there? Nobody was there for them. We're gonna have our Wachipi, our big victory celebration this week. When I was a child, that was huge. That was the hugest thing on this reservation. Youth affairs did exist when I was a child, and they hosted things like Little League Baseball, teener, volleyball, t-ball, fishing tournaments. I could go on and on. And those are things that helped mold me into the adult I am today. I built friendships not only childhood friendships, I built the friendships that I carry into adulthood. I made friendships with adults that are sitting before me today, and I'm asking for their help. I think that's where it starts. I think that's where we build strength up, is we actually start doing things for them. We actually be there for them. We show up for them. We could say we're going to do it, and we could make promises and stuff, but I haven't seen anything happen. And what really set precedent was Youth Day. That was known forever, or not forever, but for quite some time. And nobody showed up for them. And I just thought, if I'm elected, I'm going to be that council rep that shows up for them. I'm going to be that council rep that makes sure they have water, make sure they have electricity so they can have fun. They're trying to have fun. That whole powwow grounds was filled with kids. They didn't have no lights. They didn't have no electricity. They didn't have no prizes. Lawrence, he exhausts every resource he has for the youth, and nobody's stepping in to help him. But I will. I'll step in to help our kids. I'll step in to help our elders. I don't have all the answers, like I said, but I do have a voice, and I'm not afraid to show up. I showed up here today. I'm not afraid to show up, and I'm not afraid to say things. And I think that's where the relationship, that's where the strength comes from in the relationship, is we have to show them that we're here for them, that we're going to show up for them on Youth Day, that they're going to have a good time, that they're going to be able to experience the carnival. There's a big controversy right now going on with this carnival and everything, and everybody knew this carnival was coming for a whole year. Why didn't we step up for them? Nobody stepped up for them. I will. I'm not going to make promises that I can't keep up here, or promises that I don't intend to keep. I'll start with the little things. Youth tournaments, fishing tournaments, volleyball. Those are things that if I'm elected, I would like to see those things happen consistently. Not just around election time. Not just around the fair time. I want those things to be happening consistently, year round. Those are things that happened when I was a kid. And those are things that molded me into the adult I am today. And I think that's where this starts.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is, the community. Okay, the community often. Yeah, sorry, Lila. The community often feels that council protects its own instead of changing the system. What specific legislative rule or process are you willing to change first to hold yourself accountable?
Okay. That's a good question. When you're saying it's usually that way from the outside. The community feels that we protect each other. We're not looking at changing things, and for myself, since I came on, there's a lot of barriers that are within this arena here. And you have to kind of learn about our tribe all over again in a whole different way. And, as I was raised, I was raised the Lakota way. You respect everybody. And when you work with people, you do your best to work together. And a lot of times, for me, it's sad because that's my thought process. Is how are we going to do it in a good way? And so my thought process is thinking that how I was raised. I was raised with, a lot of strictness and how people perceive me is a totally different way. So when I came here on council, I really learned about people. There were people I knew, but I had to learn about them here in a political manner. And I was really intimidated. I really was. And it took me probably the whole first year of my council term to study this body, to study that Constitution. And the hard part was having to speak to one of my elders or talk to one of my elders, and yet in my mind, I'm not, you gotta give them that respect. But yet I don't disagree. I mean, I disagree with what they're saying. That was a big challenge. It still is for me. Now I'm 56 years old, and I'm an elder now. And I see how hard it is to kind of find that dialogue here amongst this body. A lot of us think there's different styles of thinking and approaching things. But we really try. We really try. And me, I'm all about the circle. That's how I am. All about the circle. I'm all about everybody behave, be good, be nice, have respect for yourself. But if there's something that that's done here, and we gotta follow our policies. We want to do all these things outside of here, but when we're here, it's a full agenda. You go from A to Z to B to D to F. We're not, I don't know, it's just like that. But if I was to do something, say I gave myself, I wanted a bonus. Bonuses are big talk right now. Big talk. And they always say, well, council always gets bonuses. They gave themselves bonuses. There was a time that this body did give themselves $10,000 bonus. I totally didn't agree with that. I wasn't on council at that time. Bonuses here are only 2 times a year. And we don't got that kind of money. But we changed from, you got to be humble to sit here. You got to hold yourself accountable for your decisions. You got to face the people who don't like what you do or you did. And it used to never be like that. When I first came on, my family somebody always sat here, checked on me, you okay? Before the texting. But now, we ride solo, so to speak. We changed. Doshke washachuk dilana hokja. How we think is how it changed our work. Dakota way of thinking is it's flipped. It's flipped. And then you go here with this IRA government and it's the other way, from top to bottom. With our way of life, it's bottom to top. The children are at the bottom with the IRA government. Dakota way, your child is on top. That has been a continuous struggle since 1934. They didn't take that from us, the government. They still are holding us to that. For us to forget our children, for us to not take care of our children, and we're doing a damn good job of it. And I don't like it. We all don't like it. And I think if we continue, and we got to respect our elders, we got to bring them here. They used to all sit around here. All the elders used to come and sit here and chew us out. Watch yourself. Pay attention. That's how Dakota way of life was, because if we made a mistake, boy, we'd get killed. Very serious business. And today, We're not like that. Where's the balance? I honestly can't tell you where it is. But the balance that requires you to be able to do this work here is really tough. I hold myself accountable. You know, and people do tell me if they see me doing something. The hardest thing to come back to work here was losing my mother. A whole life change. And it makes you change. But if I don't hold myself accountable, I'm no good to nobody. I'm not no good to the kids. I ain't no good to our elders. I ain't no good to this body. And, you know, we talk about those things. And I don't sit here for myself. You know, a lot of times, you know, they say, well, you're there for a reason. I truly believe that. You know, our destiny is not of our own choice. There's another hand in it, and it's Lakota, Bashia. So Lakota way of thinking, really, it's different. We need to bring that back here. I want to see that here. I want it to be here, and I want it to come back. Don't be afraid to call each other, you know, Tojam, Toshka. Because if we're not treating each other with respect, our children, they're not going to do that. And that is what is happening. And out there, back when we were growing up, there was people bouncing basketballs, walking around, 2, 3 cousins. Today, that's forbidden. Why do we have a JDC? Why do we have that place? You know, that shouldn't even be there. But it's there. Why do we have to have backpack scanned? I mean, that all came from outside entity, from social media. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to control ourselves? That social media right now runs this reservation. It runs everything. And we're forgetting about our policies and what we're supposed to do here. And everybody has a job. Everybody has their role in this tribe. And then if we can come together and say, hey, without upsetting somebody, nobody owns anything here. This tribe takes good care of us. The best it can do with what resources it has. Time to start giving back to the Rosebud Sioux tribe. Time to start putting in a little effort without being paid. Now it's all about money. And that's what saddens me. And I want to see us find ways to change some of these laws, some of these, you know, how we're going to do things. You know, and we've been changing a lot of policies that are going to benefit our people. But in order to work together, we're going to have to be strong. We're going to have to take that criticism in a good way and apply it to what's even better. So, you know, those are my thoughts of how, you know, I would hold myself accountable and being able, like, you know, Marla said, be respectful of each other. Don't do those things here in the front here. And this belongs to the people. It's not mine. It's not yours. It belongs to the Oyate. And I really want to emphasize that because so much is happening out there. And we're not alone in our struggles. But the meth epidemic is what we need to face immediately. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ivor. I'll ask you number 15. How can our tribe be self-sustaining, and what would be your plan or plans to reach that goal?
I don't really have a business background, but we've always heard it for years. We have millions and millions of acres, or millions of acres here. We do not utilize them properly. We do not take full benefit of our land. Usually we get these non-members that come in and sublease and whatnot, and not only showing due regard to the natural environment as far as our lakes and our dams and our rivers, they don't adhere to that. So we're going about our process in the wrong way. We're letting other people get rich off of the tribe and not capitalizing on our own resources. And I know it's very big for some people, the ranchers, and if they have their own cattle, their own land, yeah, I'm all for it. I support you 100%. But to have non-members come into the reservation, become rich off the tribe, that's where I have a problem with that. I think we could do better with our own land. I think we can manage our own land, but we just need the right people in there to do it. So to be self-sustaining, we need that. We need to have our own backing. Because guess what we're doing? We're running to the DC, we're running to the state. We need this money. You better give us this money. We got to demand this money. They could say, sorry, we don't have it for you. But what do we have? What do we have to stand on as a tribe aspect? If we don't have nothing to stand on when it's our own self-sustainability, we have nothing. And we're basically still asking for the scraps from the government. That's all I have.
Okay, Donna, name one specific topic where you feel the current council has been too quiet, and would you bring attention to that concern? If so, how?
There's probably several topics that the council has been quiet on. But also the council has to take the words from the committees. You know, we have like the Judiciary Committee, the Education Committee, the Social Service Committee. Those are the committees that speak on behalf of our people. One of the things that I would probably, and I mentioned it before, is our law and order. You know, we have a code that we have to follow by our courts, our juvenile system. They all fall together in one circle, and I think that we all need to work together, having the committees meet, having the leadership go to their community meetings, give their reports and get back their feedback and bring it back to the table or back to their committee is what is needed. Sometimes it falls back into one, and we all see it, you know, when they have squabbles here. It's not meant to be. That's not our way of life. So I feel that there's several topics that we all need to work together on.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to be asking question number 6. In tribal legislation, a lot of ordinances get lost. For example, in 2001, the 1226 ordinance was the Tribal Youth Advocacy Committee for the Civil Rights Office. With your oath to ensure that past council duties get accomplished, what will you do to ensure these become real?
Is it the written one we're talking about?
Yes.
Sorry. we had more questions after we arrived.
6 with the arrow.
Yeah. With the extension.
In tribal legislation, A lot of ordinances get lost. For example, 0126, the Tribal Youth and Advocacy Committee, or the Civil Rights Office, with your oath to ensure the past council duties get accomplished. What will you do to ensure these become reality? It all starts from your committees and how strong you stand on positions. And because I've written a lot of position papers being in a directorship leadership position, and not only tribal but state and DC. And I've got responses back where I have to follow up. Sometimes you're forgotten, so you have to do follow-ups. So I have reached that level with DC to request extra funding, and which we did receive. But you have to stand strong on your feet to pursue the goals of your program. And because everything is about money, and economic development is another one, bringing it to the reservation. And I've done that. And the max employees I've had was 28 employees. And so being a program director, I've been to committees. And I've dealt with one ordinance, and that's the animal control ordinance. And so I put forth with that 100% because that was one of my goals at that time, and with the health board. So got that into play, and so I know how this ordinance rules go at the tribal level. So paperwork gets shuffled, and things tend to be forgotten. So follow-up is really strong in whatever you plan to do with your program or your community or your committee, your subcommittee. And so I'm sharing what I experienced. And the Tribal Youth Advocacy Committee. Years ago, when my dad was community chairman, he was the community chairman for 30 years. So that's the road he paved for his family to help the community members. So I can't remember, I think I was in high school when my dad was chairman, and he wanted to do something for the youth. And at the time, we didn't have nothing for the youth. So he approached me and asked, son, can you do something for the youth? So I said, yeah. And so that's how our youth began in my community. And so, but back then, everybody helped each other. And so it worked really good. And we did donations, we did fundraising and stuff like that. So I've worked with the youth for many, many years. And we did a lot of good things in the community. So I can only do a standpoint from my community level regarding the youth. And the Civil Rights Office, that's a big picture, the Civil Rights Office. It's huge. And I've been an employee all these years. And yeah, employees' rights, they get violated. And I was one of them. But I stood strong, and I won my case. And we didn't have a Civil Rights Office. We have this circle. So when you do something right, it's in your heart, push it forward and stand strong with it. And it takes time. It takes time, but you eventually get it done. But employees always get mistreated. Always. I've seen it. I've seen it for myself. Employees cry. If they do something, they get retaliated on. It's the truth. It's the truth. And So, you know, our employees really need protection. And the Civil Rights Office, it's going to be nice once it comes on board. And a lot of our people will go there, not just travel employees, but others. And then you hope to ensure that past council duties get accomplished. What will you do to ensure to? Okay, once I accept that oath for this position, accountability and transparency, and I will be totally 100% accountable to my community. I will give written reports. I will tell it like it is. And as it is, we do not get enough monthly income to help every community member in my community. So we need to somehow obtain more funding to help our communities. A lot of people reach out for help. A lot of people run out of food at the end of the month. But through our hearts in our community, some of our community members, they help in some way, some manner. My community chairman, he's up 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Somebody's out of gas. Somebody has a flat tire out in the middle of nowhere. So him and his boys go out there and they help. And, you know, community chairman, they do a lot of work. They do a lot of work. They go above and beyond the midnight hour, helping our people. So I wanted to point that out also. And then what will you do to ensure these become reality? I will bring my community's support resolutions, what they need to have accomplished, what they're supporting, their goals to this circle. And I will give a community report. And I told CPA, I said, I'll be your voice. Because there's no voice here at the moment for the CPA committee. So I told them I'll be your voice in this circle. And so I want to do everything in a good way, at a good level, all different levels. I know there's all kinds of problems we have here, but we can resolve them. It can be resolved. And, you know, working for the tribe for 30 years, I've been outside looking in this circle. And we see things, you know. So we just need 100% capability and workmanship, and things can be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I want to say that.
My mom was making an
Yeah.
announcement real quick.
Hold on. I just want to let everyone know that when we planned this, it was kind of like a last minute kind of, but we tried to get hold of every candidate. We made every effort to get hold of everyone, and there are a couple who we couldn't reach. We did everything we could. But I wanted to mention that there's 3 people who contacted me, and they really wanted to be here, but they couldn't make it because they had other personal commitments. And that is, I just want to say their names so people will know that they didn't just skip out. Willie Bearshield, and he's a candidate from Milks Camp Community, and he had a prior commitment. Tennille Blackfeather, candidate from Ideal, and she couldn't be here tonight, she has class. And Eileen Schott from Harmony, she also had a previous commitment. So those 3, they did want to come, but they just couldn't do it. So I just want to let everyone know that.
I think we get kind of long here, but one thing you remember that if you've been on council, and I sat around this table for a few terms, you know, but, you know, so the days are long. So right now it's long, so, and this young man here comes from a long ways away, you know, and that's so, but you get used to those, you know, so expect to be here till, not till midnight, but it seems like that sometimes when they've been here, don't think about up. Well, I think we're going to ask one more questions up to these guys, but one thing I noticed that some of you didn't, give your name, your community, so if this is a closing one, I don't know how these guys, but make sure you give your name and what community you're running for office from. Just a little advice, we give that every year, and that's all.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to let everybody pick their own question that they want to answer. And if we could be brief, because I guess there's a storm coming.
Yeah, there's a storm,
So-
we're gonna need to get out of here.
So we're just going to let them pick their own question? Or,
Yeah, just make sure to state your name and your community.
Somebody might have got a weather alert.
We'll start with Tammy again.
I'm Dr. Tammy Keller, and my community is Butte Creek. I did not grow up in Butte Creek, but I did homestead. I got a home assignment with my late husband, Tyler Antoine. We picked up our house and moved it out there back in 2014, and he passed away in 16, and me and my children, we've been out there ever since, homesteading. We're up to 50 plus animals that I use in my food therapy. I use them within all communities within my profession. Yeah, hope you agree.
Thank you.
Well, number one, I didn't grow up there, but I've lived there since 2014.
Oh, it was one of the extra questions.
Oh.
I chose number 13. Tamara Wilcox for Soldier Creek Community. Name one specific topic where you feel the current council has been too quiet, and will you bring attention to that concern or how? So, something that I would like to see change and amended and more protection for is our whistleblowers. And I say that really passionately because I was one of them. There's a lot of us on the employment side of the tribe and our entities that have a lot to say, that witness a lot of things. And I've heard, numerous times here that our employees do not have protection, and that's true. That's correct. I've seen it, I went through it, and I'm still kind of battling it because, for instance, it's probably a new issue right now, but I filed a whistleblower, and I did it on a casino. And now I'm dealing with the issues that were in my complaint sitting on his body. But getting there, I was terminated, I was labeled, it was hard to get a job with the tribe. And I'm also one of those ones too that they said, go off and get an education and come back. Well, I did, and guess what? I could not get a job in the education that I had. But that didn't prevent me from continuing forward. And I also heard, Chris mention about our youth coming forward and speaking for council. And my daughter, years back, came before council because she wanted to present this home idea for the youth. She had it all drawn up. She even had it put together really nicely. But one of our council reps who sits here now got up and walked out to break that corner because he didn't want to hear it. And I thought that was very, very disrespectful. And I followed him out and I asked him, where are you going? Why are you leaving? She sat here all day to be heard and you're leaving. And he said, I got better things to do, and he continued walking. So that does happen to our youth. Sometimes they sit here, all day like my daughter did. And what grade were you in? A freshman? In high school. She was in high school. And, growing up, they always brought their friends home, and it was always that good, positive atmosphere for them. But what I really want to say is that our people need protection and coming forward. Because sometimes sitting here, and knowing what I know, it's kind of sad and it's hurtful. because a lot of things have gone on with this tribe that, you know, you're right. Even sitting here, when I would question it and ask about it, I get retaliated on. What are we supposed to do? Because we're told that, you know, if you see wrong, report it, otherwise you're just as guilty. And I want our tribal members to have that freedom of speech. I want our tribal members to have that protection. And that has always been a goal for me. But until you actually experience it yourself, you don't know. You honestly do not know what it's like to be labeled, to be blackballed, to apply for a job that you know you're qualified for, but don't get it because someone said, no, they're going to start a lot of trouble. No, actually, you should embrace people and learn from them. But it doesn't happen sometimes. But that's my question for that one specific. My answer to that one specific. Thank you.
Thanks.
Very program from community, and I'm going to use question number 2, where it says the community often feels that the council protects its own instead of changing the system. What specific legislative rule or process are you willing to change first to hold yourself accountable? I feel like a lot of the council reps that have come on in this past term had to suffer the consequences of the previous council reps. And we weren't even given a chance. We were immediately labeled and immediately, I don't know, I guess we were just labeled as these reps that come in and do whatever they want to do. And as long as I've sat at this table, it hasn't happened. We don't just protect ourselves or protect each other in anything. We always try to hold each other accountable. And there is a legislative rule and process to hold all of us accountable, and that's through ethics as well. And I don't think a lot of people know that, or I think our ethics system has to be revamped as well, because it's not upholding the ordinance that it falls under. But I just felt like come into this seat and you just have all of these ambitions that you want to do, and then you're immediately labeled as, oh, those council reps, and it's really disheartening, those council reps. And I feel like I'm an honest person, I'm trustworthy, and I do hold myself accountable. So when I hear these things being said about council and how we're labeled and things like that, I do feel offended. And I feel like, why weren't we ever given a chance to do the work that we were voted in to do? So I guess I'm just asking for that opportunity, because I'm not one to protect any council rep. If they're sitting around the table and they're doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, then yes, we will speak on it. So,
Charles DeBray, seeking re-election for Ideal Community. I guess this second question, on one they just passed out. Have you participated in your community meetings? Yes. Do you know your people? Yes. We're pretty self-sufficient, tight-knit community over there. Everybody knows everybody. And I'd just like to let everybody know to get out and vote on Thursday, and keep it nice and short so you can go. There you go.
Thank you.
Wesley Running Jr., I'm running for Soldier Creek. Just kind of revisit the questionnaire from the Youth Council, number 6 and 7. How you balance economic development. What happened to the ordinance in 2001 that was established to create the Youth Advocacy Committee, and why isn't there one to this day? Your oath to ensure that past council duties get accomplished, and what will you do to ensure that becomes reality? I just like to say that we see that very often, a lot of startups, a lot a lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies, but very seldom do we see 5, 10, 15-year success stories. Where are they now? What happened? Why did it dissolve? It happens a lot with new administrations that come in, a lot of great ideas and stuff, but existing admin, the ideas they have, the ordinances, the solutions, any development they have going often gets pushed to the side, gets pushed to the back burner, collects dust, and I'd really like to push for, let's strengthen what we have already. Let's look into the programs we have existing. There's no reason to try and come in and reinvent the wheel with things we have existing. Let's revisit some of those ordinances that are sitting there collecting dust, These are here to strengthen our tribe, our programs, and promote sovereignty. I just wanted to revisit that and say that. Thank you.
Christopher Eaglebear, Black Pet Community, and I was gonna answer number 1 on this new sheet that came out, and then number 6 real quick. So number 1 was, have you grew up in your community? If so, what have you done as a member of your community and participation wise? So for as long as I can remember, my mother, she left Norse before I was born and moved to Mission. And for as long as I was alive, for some reason, I always was attracted to Norse. I was always attracted to my community that I was from. And growing up, I never understood why. I would always beg my mom to move back. I would always beg my mom to let me stay with my family over there. Whether it was my auntie, my grandma, my grandpa, or literally anyone over there who would take me in. Because growing up in that community of Blackfire, every house I went into, they welcomed you with open arms. They would always have something to feed you and something to allow you to grow up with your relatives, your cousins. Growing up, there was a group of us boys that always played football. We always played baseball. We had wooden sticks and we played guns with each other, making the noises, and I could never make them. And for a long time, it took me a while to realize, but for a long time, the reason why I was attracted to Norse is because that's where my people are from. That's where my family's from. And that's where I'm from. And that's where I choose to be. For a long time, I would go to school there. I begged my family to let me go to school in Norse. Not once since I grew up there till I lived there, I've never seen anyone beg to be a part of Norse as bad as I have. I wanted to live there so bad, I got an RV, and that's what I live in. It has no water, and I love it. I love Norse. I love my people of Norse. Growing up was such a beautiful thing. And I know that times are changing because now those beautiful things are starting to wilt like a sunflower. But the only reason they're wilting is because they're not getting enough sun. They're not getting enough water. And that's what we need to do as community members. What have I been doing participation-wise? I grew up there. I played baseball, part of the baseball team. I participated in the youth events that would go on. And in my older years, before I got onto tribal council, I was the vice community chair at 24 years old. And my chairperson left me to the wolves. And I had no clue what I was doing at 24 years old. All I knew is that I'm from here and I want to make this place beautiful again. And so that's been the goal. And unfortunately, we're struggling in that area right now. But regardless of anything, I support anyone from that community. Whether they're in this room or whether they couldn't make it here today, I support everyone from that community because I grew up with every single one of them. And they're my people. And I know all of them. And they all know me. And we all know each other's deepest, darkest secrets. And we all know each other's greatest realities. And I wouldn't trade them for the world. Number 6. It said, how do you plan to handle peer pressure from other council members when voting controversial issues? Because it does happen. You just straight up tell them no. You just be straight. You be real. Like, you did not go through all these programs. You did not do all of this stuff. You did not commit to all these communities that you spoke to just to fall under peer pressure. What's that thing they say? It's a little corny. It's like, with a lot of coal, with peer pressure, you make a diamond. And it's very shiny in this room, so I'm very excited to see what the future holds for this place. Peer pressure is just something that you have to understand that that's the tools that our way of life gives us, so that we don't succumb to peer pressure. Crazy Horse did not submit his life under a wooden beam just like this for his people to fall under peer pressure. for its people to be divided. And so, yeah, I just wanted to answer those. I love my community. I love Norris. And don't believe everything you hear or see.
I'd like to answer a couple of questions as well, since that's been apparently okay. So, that's all right. I'm Marla Bolbear. I'm candidate for council representative for Milks Camp community. I'm a lifelong member of Milks Camp, and some of the things that I've done in my community is over 30 years ago, we started a dance society. And we had 25 young people, little ones, make regalia. Their families came, and we found I was taking classes at Cynthia, so I got to meet a whole bunch of other people that knew how to sew, and they came and helped. And we got 25, we had a coming out, we had a little powwow in Goldsteel at the community hall. We had all 25 of those young ones come out dancing. And, so my life has really been of service. I've just always worked for the people in some fashion and worked for the youth in particular. Because I remember some of the things that I had to go through. And so, you always want it better for the next generation. I want it better for generations. I want each generation to do better. And I'm seeing that happen, and it's exciting. So I was involved in being a founding executive director for our organization. And where did we want to take it? I asked and I lobbied for a Milks Camp. Well, how many families out there? Oh, there's not that many. Don't you want to have it in Rosebud? I says, I want to have it in community that needs it. And our outlying communities get lost in the shuffle a lot of the times. And I know that some of you that are represented are from some of those outlying communities know that it's true. And sometimes we even get told that, council talks about things that don't even matter to us. Everything should matter to us. Everything should matter to our communities as well. And so I wanted to share with you that I've tried, whether I was just doing it as a mom or somebody that wanted to help to create things, and I never got anything for those things. You just volunteer, you just do it. I've been on our powwow committee for Milks Camp for a number of years. I push mowed that ball field, by God, 1 year, and it was, we all just pitched in and did what we could, and we need to get back to that. I think that's important for us to pitch in and help in our communities. And I go to community meetings, and I've missed a few because of surgery and rehab and stuff, but I've gone to community meetings. I have a better history of going than not going. And so I want to commit to, continue that commitment, because if a council representative must talk to your people, your community, how are you going to know how to vote? I think I've seen in the past that some people think that they're in there and it's all up to them. Well, you're a representative, and it's service and representing should be the first terms that come to mind in being a council representative. You're of service to the people, and that means you have to listen to them. And to me, the other question I wanted to answer is when it comes to your resources, I lost the page, I should have made a note, but when it comes to resources, economic development, and balancing the need of securing the land and our waterways and protecting them, it needs to be just like automatic. That if it's not good for grandmother Earth, if it's not good for the water, it's not good for Lakota people. Because that's where our roots are. That's how we've survived these generations. And we have to be the stewards. At one time, grandmother Earth was our steward. Now we have to give that back. We have to make sure that she doesn't shake herself so much that none of us exist, because she has that power yet. We have to stop the onslaught of our waters. That means these AI centers. We have to really think about what is that doing to our water? We have to think about, and I agree here with what was said earlier about we need to utilize and manage our land. We need to do better with that, and we can do it better ourselves, can't we? And I think that economic development and thinking of how we have our strong relationship with the water and land, they go hand in hand. And it shouldn't be an either or situation. It's how we walk forward and how we make our entrepreneurial opportunities, how we grow our economic development. It's with that as its core, it's understanding that. So I just wanted to say that much, and I want to thank you for the time and the opportunity to talk. I just want to remind everybody before I go quiet, vote, please vote. This Thursday, August 27th, vote for the tribal election, and I would like your vote. Thank you.
My name is Tori Jo Barron, and I'm running for the Parmelee Council representative. I'm a Parmelee candidate. I'm going to answer questions 1 and 2. It says, have you grew up in your community? Yes, I've been a community member for 31 years. I personally know each and every community member, maybe not every single one, but majority of my community. How I'm an active community member is I grew up with those kids. I grew up as a kid in the community. I remember when they put that Parmelee Park in. It was brand new. I was about 12 or 13. I remember that day. We were all standing there watching them. They peeled the plastic off of that cement slab, and we were ready. We had brand new basketball goals, basketballs, everything. Brand new, beautiful park. I remember that. How am I an active community member? I'm a Head Start. I work at the Head Start. I started out as a teacher, then I switched to cook. And now I call myself a cook/teacher because I do both. If I'm not washing a dish or cooking, I'm rocking a baby. I'm reading a book to one of the babies. Have I participated in any community meetings? I did. 1 year ago, I participated in a community meeting. I'm going to be very honest. There's a big divide in the Parmelee community. One family has full control over my community. And that meeting was on July 7th. And that right there, when I attended that meeting, it showed me how much of a divide we have in the Parmelee community, how much that one family has control over our community, over everything, finances, everything that happens in our community. After I left that community meeting, I decided I was going to run for tribal council. I was going to change that. I'm going to make a difference in my community. I'm going to take everything that I seen there, and I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to put a change in our community. I'm going to put a stop to those things. If I'm not elected, they continue on. Things will not change in my community. I personally know, do I know the people? Yes, I do. I personally know the elders when I see them. I shake their hands. I'm like, good morning, Matthew. Good morning, Ione. I say good morning to them. I teach their kids. I grew up with their kids. I grew up in their homes. I ate meals in their homes. I played in their homes. I've spent nights in their homes. I've played in their yards. In Parmelee, we're a small community and we look out for each other. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows whose kids are whose. I would really like to have the opportunity to make some changes in my community. Not just for adults or for elders, for everybody. My community needs a change. My community deserves a change. There are community members in my community that are wanting change, and we need change and we deserve change. And we're asking the Oyate's help to help make that change happen, because that change does not happen without your help. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because there's a big storm coming. Yep. My name is Tori Jo Barron, and on August 27th, I am humbly asking for your support in the election. Vote Tori Jo Barron, Parmelee Council Rep. Together we can make a change. We can be the change that we want and deserve. Thank you for your time.
This is Lila Kildensight again, and I'd like to touch base on questions 1 and 2. What are your thoughts on the homeless situation on the reservation, and how do you see the tribe helping to alleviate homeless? Well, that's something we don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about. So, I guess that's probably one of the biggest things that just breaks my heart. And it's not just a certain stereotype of people that are homeless. You would never know, never think who is homeless. And our tribe, our reservation is really populating. We are growing. We are growing so fast. We're just like spilling over. And I thought about some things that we're gonna probably need to do. And I thought about how council, you know, we got to come back to those focal points. We got to address the meth. We got to address the homelessness. Those are my relatives. My mom always used to say that. You know, sometimes somebody will make fun of someone. Hey, shh, those are your relatives. You know, chew kids out. But you know, that's true. I'm responsible for them. When I go up here, you know, I see, you know, they come around the corner, you know, just, they have the most beautiful hearts. They will give you what they have. And I see how we treat them, and I don't like it. We ignore them. We don't take care of them. But that's the other thing, is because we don't know how. We don't know how. Because that never existed in our way of life. Nobody was ever homeless because we all took care of each other. Why is that? Who are we today? How are we going to be a good relative? That's a simple question that we all need to ask ourselves. It is not only council's responsibility. It is the family, the community, and the admin, everybody. And I really feel that, you know, those are the big things that are really putting us in a really hard situation. The homelessness, I don't like that word. You know, there's other ways we can, dialogue is really hurtful when we say those things. I don't want to come in and say, you know, gee, I'm homeless. That, you know, that doesn't exist in our way. So what are we going to do? And I'm going to ask the youth council to think about that. You know, maybe you can come up with a term, something, you know, and give it back to us. Give us some feedback. I ask for feedback from everybody because that's not who we are. You know, and it is tough, but there's ways to help each other. There's ways to do things. And we have to do those things that are needed for them. Winter's coming. There's a cold that's coming. We're not even ready. We're not. You know, we lose lives all the time, and it means nothing anymore. And what's wrong with us? Why are we so cold? Those are the questions that sit here in my mind. And we got to kind of shake ourselves up, get our blood flowing. And everybody's angry, and we have a right to be. But if we're going to be sitting on Facebook, we can go out and do something else. You know, we can go out there and maybe ask somebody, hey, you come with me, you'll buy some sandwiches, or should we go check on them? I don't know what it is, but please help us. This is everybody's problem. Everybody's relatives. And the other thing I want to touch on is how can the tribe honor and recognize our elders on Tribal Elder Day? Well, every day should be Elder Day. Every day. And we should be honoring them in such a way that they feel good. We don't use our elders. Mrs. Lois Antoine, I really respect her. I have a lot of respect for that elder. She always come here and helped with this stuff. And she's up there in years, but that woman is very wise. There's a lot of women out there. Lakota wiaki, Lakota wichashaki. They leave us alone because we know it all. You know? And look what we're doing. Look where we're headed because we don't ask for help. We cannot do that no more. We need to honor them and tell them, hey, not just, give them something. No, to honor them is to go to them and say, please, we need your help. A lot of times some may not come or want to, but let's go, go visit them. We should have a nice, beautiful powwow for them. Beautiful. We don't even have those activities anymore. 4th of July, there used to be a 4th of July powwow. There used to be powwows all the time. It was rocking up there on top of the hill. And we don't do that. Why? Why? Wakanki, they are very, very wise. And I crossed the little line to that other side now, and I'm beginning to understand some of the things that, my elders told me. You want to think you know everything, then go ahead, but you will be coming back and asking for help. So we need to go ask them. I don't know everything. We don't know everything. And right now, I feel like we're just, in a really tough place. They have the answers. They know what's there. They've seen and they've lived through a lot. They've lived through. My mother lived in a tent, went to boarding school, all those things. And I think about that, if I'm in a tent, wow. Now that's some strength if you ask me. So we got to bring those things back. And we have to ask them, hey, can you please help us? Can you please, we're too proud. We're too out there. Our spirits are all out there in Facebook world, not that we're spinning around over there somewhere. And a lot of times, our elders, they don't know that stuff, they don't care about it, and they want a good life for us. But we really do need to bring them back where they belong, because without them, it's not good. It's not good, and I feel that, in my own way, I've really, been disrespectful, because there are things that are happening now that should not even happen. And before somebody leaves this world, they don't care about themselves. Our people are like that. My mom was that way, worried about this tribe. I love my people. All about the people, everywhere. What about the people? Seems like we're losing that. So I really want us to think about that and look at how we're going to bring our elders to the circle and we go around them, stand behind them, not in front of them.
They call it I don't call it
Ivor Crowley, Leclerc, running for 2 strike. I'm going to answer number 2, and I'm going to answer number 11. Coming into this election, I think I have the upper hand when it comes to, it says, have you participated in your community meetings? Do you know your people? And I think I have an upper edge when I say that, because I was always called a stalker or a psycho, because I know where everybody lives. This whole reservation, I know where everybody lives. I know specifically where they live, who lives at that house, if they're elderly, if they're adolescent, anything. I know everybody. And I got that because I worked for the police department here for over 18 and a half years. And so I know everybody in these communities, whether it's Two Strike, whether it's Mills Camp, whether it's Norris, I know everywhere everybody lives. So I have the upper hand. As a patrol captain, I participated in these meetings. I was supposed to participate in the community meeting for Two Strike, 2 weeks ago? We had a death in the community, therefore it was postponed, so I never got the opportunity. So I have the upper hand. When it comes to EPP purposes, I think I can be very helpful. I've been very helpful when I worked here. When we try to establish who lives where they live, are they elderly, and are they sickly? I think I have that upper hand. Number 11, it says, how will you hold outside consultants, lawyers, or federal agencies accountable when they do not deliver on their promises to our tribe? And I'm going to speak from the lawyer portion of it. Right now, the Rosebud Sioux tribe does not have an attorney general. They have a contract with a law firm that doesn't or even around here. And I don't know, I think the last figure that I was ever told was they pay them $250,000 plus airfare, meetings, room and board anytime they work for the tribe. Why aren't we as a tribe trying to hire our own attorney general? If we're paying over, I would say $300,000 comfortably, why aren't we paying somebody to come in and pay them that top dollar that they want? It's not going to be $300,000, I guarantee you that. Attorney General's not going to come in for less than 100 grand. Why can't we make it 110? Why can't we make it 120? Why can't we have somebody here to specifically serve our people? Why do we have to pay an outside law firm to be our Attorney General? Over $300,000 a year. And I'm just saying this comfortably. Because I know it, I see it. And I know it, I see it because the same Attorney General at this law firm, they're stepping out the realms of what they should be doing. They are used in personnel issues, used in political issues that have no business being part of. They are supposed to be our consultants when it's for the betterment of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. Doesn't make sense. So my deal here is up that fee, get our own attorney general. And if we do contracts with outside attorneys, put a cap on them. If they're doing good, great. Let's make another motion to give them more money. Keep them on tap. If they're not adhering to what we want, then end that contract. It's specific and it's common sense, but we want to spend this top dollar. That doesn't make no sense, but we're spending over $250,000 for a law firm that has no business or doesn't even know the people of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. So I'm very adamant on that. It doesn't make sense. We're wasting money. So that's all I have, and vote for. Are we giving final statement?
This is it, yeah.
This is it?
Yeah.
This is their question they picked.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna have final.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, if you don't
Well,
want to.
I was gonna do that, but my final statement kind of addresses pretty much all your topics here. So I'll wait for my final statement, but that's all I have on these two answers, or two
Final
questions.
statement's only 30 seconds.
Oh, I better finish it right now.
I guess one of the things, I was very fortunate to live in two communities. I lived in Two Strike, grew up there. Was part of in the younger days, part of the baseball team, as I mentioned earlier. And then moving to Spring Creek Community is where I first got involved in the community politics, where I was at one time community chairperson, community secretary, and being part with the elders, where we met every Saturday and had our flea markets, as well as our weekends with the youth. And then coming back into Two Strike community, I was fortunate to again be a community chairwoman, Madam Chair. And also be involved back with our youth. I pretty much in both communities gone to all the community meetings as a community member. Sometimes we sit there without a quorum, but we still sit there and visit and eat what our officers brought. That was one of the things that I liked about our meetings was food that they brought, traditional food. Our In the Spring Creek community, we have an elder that turned 94 years old, August 10th. And then in July, we have an elder that turned 81 years old. So I know who our elders are. We have young babies there. We have division, but I'm neutral. I don't get involved in division. I stick to what's right. And we also have our education there within our community. We have a division there too. If you live in this side of the community, all our youth go to, our Head Start goes to St. Francis. If you live in this side of the community, they all come to Rosebud. So we need a Head Start center. We have the generation there also. Going back to our elders again, everyone gets the holiday of Elder Day off. They get Friday off, but when it comes to Elder Day on Sunday, you don't see the tribal members there. So, on behalf of Chris Horvath and this committee, maybe they should move Elder Day over to Friday instead of the Saturday, so there'll be more involvement with those tribal members that get administrative leave. Thank you.
Thank you.
Walking dogs, great community. Canada. One question I selected was, what is one commitment you are making that you can realistically accomplish if you are elected during your term? And that would be the healthcare system. Not every tribal member has Medicaid, Medicare, or private insurance. So we kind of have difficulty. So we only have one selection, and it's the IHS system throughout South Dakota or anywhere else. If anybody gets sick, we go to IHS. Because it's kind of difficult if you go to ER to a private hospital. It's not 100% the IHS is going to pay for it. And so that I would make a commitment in the healthcare system and tribal health to help our tribal members. Because as it is right now, we have tribal members in Rapid City who are having difficulty with the native facility up there. And I have family and friends that live there. They've lived off the reservation most of their lives. And I hardly hear anything like towards the east, like Sioux Falls, that area. It's always Rapid City. The new facility that was built, we have major issues. And those need to be ironed out. Need to support our tribal members off and on the reservation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for all your responses, and I think we're gonna wrap it up with a closing statement if you'd like to. If you gotta get on the road and get home, that's fine too.
Okay, before everyone starts, I just want to say a quick thank you to Dakota, Ignacio, Dominique, and Athena, our future leaders. Communications for putting it on YouTube, Channel 93 and KOYA, and especially Jeff Alonso. Are you still in there? Jeff?
I think he left.
Oh.
Somebody else is in there.
Somebody else, he said, I'm leaving.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Brookie and Brittany, thank you for joining us. Our new member of OFFER.
Yes.
Brookie's been with us for a while, but Brittany's our new member. And we're open to membership for volunteer groups. We need more people to join OFFER and get involved with the politics. It's mostly getting people to vote and learning about issues. Not only tribal, we do state and federal too. And Ronnie and I, like he keeps saying he's so old, well, I'm just as old as him. we're gonna retire after next election, next year.
We do it every year.
So, we say it every year, but I think what we're gonna do is, we need people to pick this up and keep it going, because it's been really a big thing over the years, thanks to Ronnie's bright idea years ago. So, also, I wanted to say that, all general operations, I want to thank them for getting the room ready for us, and they're trying to clean up after us. And KOYA used to, allow candidates to put ads on the radio. I don't know if they still offer that, but they did a couple of elections ago.
Yeah.
And so you still have a couple days to get your word out to the people and remind them the polls are gonna be open and let them know. This, if they put it on KOYA, maybe they'll put your voice over channel 93.2 and, on YouTube. I don't know how, we have to talk to communications about that. But that's something else. And then, yeah, I think those are the things I wanted to say, just to thank everyone and remind everyone. Oh, and Paula, Antoine, she couldn't be here tonight. She's also an original offer member. But thank her too. So go ahead.
Yes, you girls did very good. Thank you for being here. But yeah, okay, we'll start with Tammy again.
Hi again, I'm Dr. Tammy Keller, representing Butte Creek. I want to end by stating that I lead by example. I'm a very determined person. I don't stop until I get it done. I have a very big heart. I care about people. I care about our people. I'm very passionate. I'm very transparent. I agree with the whole recording because I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Sometimes maybe I word vomit and talk too much, but sometimes it needs to be said. And so I'm pretty excited to stand up for our people and be the voice. I've been going to our community meetings. I've been obsessively watching council and reporting back to my community already. So pretty excited to get the ball started and vote for me.
I'm on Wilcox for Soldier Creek community. I would just like to say thank you very much for allowing us to be here. And, you know, I was trying to leave early because I do got kids at home and storms coming, they're probably freaking out. But I'm glad I stayed to the end because I got to hear what everybody's thoughts and ideas and opinions are. And I would like to continue leading our tribe. I would like to continue to sit in my seat and be able to be part of those changes that I hope that we can push forward on for the future. And I can honestly say that I do answer my calls. I do respond to text messages. I do answer, you know, the messages I get on Messenger. And sometimes it's kind of hard, you know. It could be up to 11 o'clock at night. It could be as early as 6:30. But when people call you, I take that very seriously because they have concerns. And I try to, you know, direct them in the right way, you know, whatever services that are available for them. But otherwise, I'll bring their issues up here or at committee. But, you know, open communication with our people and with each other is honestly one of the stepping stones and the foundations of sitting here. You need to have that collaboration with your colleagues, you know, with your committee, you know, with the people in general. And it's kind of hard to hear, you know, that we don't have that all the way around, and I really wish that we did. But as far as attending community meetings, I wish we would have some in my community. But like I said, I've been here for 2 years, and we've only had like 5 community meetings. And I was looking forward to, you know, working with our chairs and bringing stuff forward in our community and start making it fun again. Because it used to be really fun, but it hasn't been like that for a very, very long time. And we have, you know, our new chairmans coming in. They're going to be voted in here during the general election. And I do hope that whoever we get as a new chairman, that if I am elected or if Wesley is elected, you know, that we make that commitment to work with our chairmans and go forward with having some activities for our community. Because I know other communities used to come as well. But Social Creek kind of seems like the forgotten community, but if you look in the past, it's always been the most political one, which is really sad. But vote for me, please, on August 27th. My name is Tamara Wilcox, and I'm currently a sitting councilor for Social Creek Community. Thank you.
Michelle Holmberger for Grassville Community. I'm just requesting, asking for your support in the upcoming election, and I do want to apologize to the public for the lack of transparency in this term of council reps. Since President Herman was in that seat, I've been asking for a PR person, somebody that can give out the information the right way that it needed to be out. And I know that that's a big concern with our people, and we're still pushing for that position. They're still advertising for it, and hopefully we get some good applicants that can fill it. And that way we can close some of that disconnect with our relatives out there that want to know why we're not speaking on some of these issues. Sometimes we just can't. So I wanted to apologize for that. And also wanted to thank the people for trusting in me for this term that I did sit here. And if I'm elected in again, then I will continue to be a strong voice for the people. I am not afraid to speak up when there's something wrong or something that needs to be said. I will stand here and say what needs to be said. So just asking for the people's support in the upcoming election, and look forward to seeing our voting numbers go up. Thank you.
Charles Ray, Ideal Community. Just like to ask the people for their support. Thank you guys for all being here tonight. It's pretty late. Good night.
Wesley Redding Jr., running for Soldier Creek representative. First, I'd like to start by thanking Rose, Ron, and Paula, for putting this on. Okala, and Brooke and Brittany for being here tonight. Also, all the reps, taking time out of your lives and your day to come here and be here tonight. It's really exciting and insightful to hear a lot of the dreams, goals, and things you want to bring forth to our tribe and our communities. Just want to say, I'm just a common man. I've been in the community. I've lived here my whole life. For those of you that are still with us, still watching, you know my name, you know my face. If you see me out, don't be shy. Come shake hands. Let's visit. Let's discuss these things. And I just want to, I don't like to brag about myself too much. I'm very reserved, but I like to let my actions speak, and I mean what I say. And so get out and vote on the 27th. And I humbly ask that I have your vote for Wesley Running, Soldier Creek. Thank you.
My name is Christopher Eaglebear, Black Belt Community. Regardless of whatever we choose to do, regardless of whoever we choose to vote in, one of the big things that I want to get off in this closing statement is, it's easy to remember, it's easy to come together in hard moments. And our tribe has been going through hard moments for a long time now, and yet we haven't come together yet. It takes hardship for us to build character. And anyways, one thing I want to say is, regardless of anything that we choose to do, just remember to love each other. Just remember to love your family and love your friends. Love your enemies. Love all of them, because it could be taken away from you in a second. That's the thing that matters the most. Is how are we going to come for our people that are mourning the most? How are we going to help our people that are hurting the most? And at the end of the day, regardless if you're in here or out there, we have a duty for the next generations, just like Prominently Canada has been talking this entire time. And I admire every single word that you've said. And I know that there are programs across this reservation that are doing what they can for the kids that are being lost to the cracks. I know SIC is doing everything that they can to help the kids that they have, all while trying to find a new building. I know that there are people all across this community, this reservation, that are doing what they can, and I'm pretty sure each and every one of them feel like they're fighting a lonely battle. I know they feel like they're fighting a lonely battle because they are. And so, regardless of who you vote for, just make sure you vote. And remember to love each other.
KP, I'm Marla Bolbear, candidate for representative for Mills Camp community. I just want to say a couple of things. I've learned early on in my life, and I have a quick funny story. I was a student at Sinteglashka University, and a lot of my friends told me to run for princess. And I did it. And I went home and I said, I'm never going to win. So I didn't want to drive over 3 hours to come to go out to St. Francis for the powwow and for all of that. Come to find out, I won. I learned my lesson about showing up. And ever since then, I learned that showing up is paramount. You can't accept something good if you're not there. No. Likewise, you can't learn anything if you're not there. You know, life is about showing up. And so I learned that early on. That I want you to know that I will do my best to show up. And I will be here in a respectful way. And I will want to work together to find answers and to take action. We need to be able to move forward because our people need us to. And so I just wanted to say that much. I want to encourage everybody, please go vote. Please go vote. If you need a ride, call somebody. Let somebody know in your community. Let me know if you're in Milks Camp. It's not that hard to step up for each other for one day, to give their voice, to let their voice be heard. And I know how to listen to youth. I know how to listen to the elders, and I know how to show up. So thank you. I hope you can vote for me this Thursday, August 27th. Vote.
My name is Tori Jo Barron, and I'm a candidate for the Parmley Council representative position. And I'd like to thank Rose and Offer, Ron, Athena, Dom, Brooke, and Brittany for your time tonight. Thank you for hosting this so younger, newer candidates like me could come and express ourselves and let the Oyate know our intentions. I'd like to start by saying that I'd be a council rep that you guys could be proud of. I'm not at the local bar partying. I'm not hosting the local house party, and I have never been arrested. I'd be somebody that you guys could say, that's my leader, and I'm proud that she's my leader. I'm proud to be from the Rosebud Sioux tribe, and I'd be honored to be your representative. On August 27th, in the humblest way, I ask you, the Oyate, to vote Tori Jo Barron, Parmley Council Rep. Let's make a change, guys. We need a change. We deserve a change. And together, we can be that change. Thank you for your time.
I think all of you who put your time and effort into making this happen this event tonight. And we need more of this. We should be doing more of this. And I encourage you all to continue, finding ways to help council. I really truly believe in sober leadership. I believe in prayerful, sober leadership. That's the only way that we're going to get anywhere. And I can say I walk my talk. How I am here is how I am everywhere else. And I know that the Creator has chosen this path for me. And there was a time that I didn't think I would make it. And that's when I lost my mother. But here I am today, going on because of my relatives and because of this tribe and the things that I want to continue to work on. I feel that we're coming to a better way now. I see us being, maybe we're not as accountable as we should be, but we could be. And like I said, I help every community. Anybody can call me, it doesn't matter. And we agreed to do that here, and I love where I come from in Spring Creek. I was proudly raised there. I grew up with Berlin. We grew up together. And we talk about these things. And it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. But the voice belongs to you, the people. And take your time and think about it in a good way. A lot of times, they accuse us of being related and everything. Actually, we're all related, And they try to write books and say, you can't do this, can't do that. But the other thing that I stand on is I stand on our Lakota way of life. And we do not accommodate our people the way we should when it comes to our way of life. There's a lot of things that need to be changed here in the tribe. We need our mothers to be home with their children a little bit longer than what we require. This tribe is in a state of mourning. A lot of people, Washigla, they're mourning. But according to the manual, you can't do that after 3 days. You got to come back here and go to work. There's a lot. That's why there's a lot of contradiction, and those things need to be fixed. And we're working on them. But until we get that done, then things will be a little bit better. But I have a lot of hope, and I have a lot of drive, and I have a heart for my people. And I have 4 grandchildren. I have 3 children and many others that, come around me. And I try my best to be that example to everybody here, to the youth. And I really try, and I do watch my mouth. It's hard, very hard, but that's really something that, in order to be a leader, you got to use your eyes and your ears and kind of, watch our mouth, they say. And our way of life is what's saving us. Our way of life is what is bringing us closer, just like this, providing this for us. We got to talk, we text, we snap, we do all that, but we don't do face-to-face anymore. And I miss that. I miss that of our people. And that's something that we need to work on and, make it better. So I'm really struggling with the changing of times with technology. But, I still believe the old way, check on each other, take care of each other. And however the people vote, I ask that, you think about it and you make this council happen. The people out there, you pick the people. You create your government. And these seats belong to you. So don't you jump at, think about it in a really good way and make your vote, but make that vote count. Go and vote. However you need to find a ride, but go there. And you young ones, if you're not registered, not this year, you passed the deadline, but you need to get on there and start voting because this is your future. And this is what, you guys are going to make for us. So I just really appreciate, this evening. It's good to see everybody. And I thank Rose for the food. KOYA. So, pilau, yeah. And I just want to say one thing too is, I get real happy when I see Rose because my mom would always, they'd be cooking at the fairgrounds and feeding everyone. And Rose is constantly, making sure everybody eats, and that's who we are. That, if we go back to that and treat each other the way as we should, let's be an example. Let's show everyone out there, Rosebud, they're really good to each other. They are treating each other so well, we want to be like them.
Good evening again. I'm Ivor from Sioux Community. I didn't really come up with a speech how I usually work because I just do little bullet points and I just topics and I just speak on them and I can probably speak and speak and speak without, I get nervous at times here and there, but for 21 years I've been a cop and I've never been into politics, but I've always been down here in the political realm to explain my position. I never wanted to be in politics at that time. I've always observed. I'm the observant. I'm the listen. I'm the learner. I review policy, and I act on policy. When it comes to policy and the black and white that specific jobs have to adhere to, I'm a big stickler in that. As long as you're following the black and white, you have nothing to worry about. As long as you're following the black and white, you're serving your people. As long as you're following the black and white, you're serving your employees. And it's just everything in general. I am not coming into this position to change, just like how Wes Running said, I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm here to get it back in place. I feel with being that voice, I can do that. Just up until recently, I didn't know what this position paid. I never inquired about it. I never cared what it paid. I didn't even know until it was brought up earlier what this position pays. That wasn't my point. That's not my intention. I'm coming in this position, or try to be in this position, to be a voice. I get a lot of people on this reservation that reach out to me. And for the betterment for them to represent the people, I put my name into this council seat again. And I got a lot of support. But with that support, there's also a lot of rumors. There's a lot of allegations. There's a lot of hatefulness, hurtfulness. I didn't let that affect me. Continue to push on because the people need it. The people need it. People depend on specific people to get in these positions to be their voice, to be that person for them. And I am that person. I will be that person. You know, when we talk about election season, and I've made a post, and I made a couple posts about it, and it's about the bashing and whatnot, but I would like to thank Donna. I'd like to thank Donna for being respectful. I like to thank her for not stooping to that level. When we talk about politics get pretty dirty and they start bashing each other. I didn't bash her, she didn't bash me. But I respect her for that. Mutual. We're here for a purpose. We want to do better, not only for the two-stripe community, but for the Rosebud Sioux tribe. And so I thank her for everything that on this whole election process. When we talk about youth, like I said, I'm not here to promise the world to the youth. I wish I can get them everything the RST youth need. But when you talk about money, it's not a reality. But I can promise you this. I will make every effort to have something for the youth. Because right now we have nothing. Up until recently, I watched the council meeting. They made a motion to fund the RST youth rodeo at $2,500 out of the youth budget. I didn't know nothing about youth budget. Why can't we use the youth? Or why couldn't we utilize the youth budget for fast pitch, little league, t-ball? Why couldn't we do that? You know, Councilman BB Long sat here, he made a motion to fix those fields up, not for himself, but for the people. And he did a really good job on it. In the past couple summers that those fields haven't been used or to their full extent. And this year, these youth didn't have no Little League tournament or no Little League league. Nothing. No T-ball, no nothing. They were inquiring about it, but never got it. So that's my promise. I'm not gonna promise the world, but I'll promise I'll have something, whether it be finding funding for this stuff, this kind of stuff to happen. When we talk about politics and legislation, the PD is a big topic in every political thing. When it comes to election, campaigning, I am not here for the police department. That's not my main agenda. My main agenda is, again, for the whole betterment of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. But since I'm here, I'm going to speak on it. The BIA, I support it. I support it to an extent. They're here, they're doing work. But why do we have to utilize other entities to have a standard that we want? Why can't we get to that standard? Why can't we utilize our own? When we open up that door to the Bureau, it gives them that much leeway to come back in and retrocede that police department. Back in 1993, the council people, I guarantee you, they fought and fought to get their own police department back, or to get their own police department, to get the BIA out of here. Now we're opening up that gate to them. And the council people that sat here and did get the police department back in 93, what would they say now? What would they say now when we're on the realm of giving back our department to the BIA, opening up that gate? I guarantee you they'd probably be disappointed. I'm not here to. I was always called a disgruntled employee of the police department. It's not the case. People, they want a better quality of life. They want a better quality of life, to be stricken of all these dangerous crimes that are happening, these killings, these beatings, these murders. They want better. And the communities are ready. The communities are now taking out that stance. And they want it better. They're screaming out. They want to, what can we do to help? This is the body that needs to do it. There has been never no plan come up from this body other than calling the BIA. People depend on this body. People rely on this body. People need this body. But to have no plan and pass the buck to a different entity, I'm saying it's unacceptable. It works for right now. It's a quick Band-Aid. It's a quick fix. I'm not bashing the BIA. I'm not. I thank them for their help. I thank them for making a presence, for making their impact known while they're here. But for the long term, we do not need them. We need to have our own control of our own police department. When we talk about government to government relation, there's MOUs and MOAs that are presented down here that kind of, they throw in little loopholes to infringe on sovereignty. But this body still has never made no attempt or approved any of these MOUs that are coming forth from the marshals or other federal or state entities that are coming here, because it's going to infringe under a little loophole to infringe on sovereignty here. I'm a big believer that we handle our own, we enforce our own, and we deal with our own. I've been saying it for years, is that we cannot arrest our problems no more. We cannot arrest our way out of these problems that plaguing our reservation right now. Now there needs to be rehabilitation. Hold, lock them up, throw away the key mentality is gone. We need to help the people. But with that, I'm a believer. If you do the crime, you do the time. But there should be a loophole to get them that help, to be quartered to get them that help. They need the help. They're screaming for help silently, not openly, but silently. Especially when it comes to mental health, they need the help. And I am not here to say you do the crime, you do the time. I'm not perfect. I lived and learned just like everybody here. I believe people that committed crime, sat their time, people change. People do it for the better. If they had that support, and we need to give them that support. I stood here on council when I was a captain, and we talked about, and I made the same statement as we can't arrest our way out of our problems right now. We need to also address the youth problem. It's not a problem, but get to the youth. Make it known to the youth. This lifestyle that we're experiencing, that these kids are experiencing, isn't the norm. It's not the norm. It's not the normal life that anybody should want. That they're seeing and how they're living. I'm not saying that everywhere's bad, but the ones that are bad, they're seeing and they're living this. And it's not normal. It's not normal for that. And we need to get to these kids. We need to get to these kids and say, this isn't the normal life that we want for you, that you should have, or that you could have. My promise to when it comes to making big decisions from this body, if I were to be elected, when it comes to big decisions that the tribe wants, that the tribe needs, I'll have that concurrence from not only Two Strike Committee, but from the people as a whole. I'm not here to make big decisions on my behalf, but for the people. Also, when it comes to, I made a statement as far as when we talk about bringing in how can we make it better? What can we do? Bring in these experts, bring in these teachers, bring in these doctors, bring in counselors, bring in everybody. I'm not expert in everything. I don't know everything. But we have people that live here and work here that know everything and see everything. Bring them here. Collaborative. It's a collaborative effort. It's a collaborative battle. I'm a big stickler when it comes to the truth. Truth and transparency. I've always been told and I've always swore to an oath that tell the truth. Because without truth, your words mean nothing. And I served over 20 years doing just that. Because your word is your word. And once you lose your word, you are no good. I've always told the truth, whether it's good, whether it's bad, but I've always told the truth. And that's one thing that I can honestly say here. I am not here or running for this position to micromanage programs, but work with them for them to be better for the Oyate. I promise not to micromanage program directors and let them run their programs, let them run their employees, and let them do what their job needs to do. And one thing we see all the time is I promise to never say to directors, employees, or even RST members, I will never use the saying, don't you know I'm on council? I will never use that. I am with you, I am for you, I am equal to you. Nowadays, it's not the same as me growing up when I was a toddler, or when I was a teen, or when I was whatever, growing up. We are losing that traditional value. If me or any family member or anybody messing up or doing something bad to be that enforcer, all grandma and grandpa had to do is, yeah, and would stop everything. Those traditional times ain't here no more. Um, People, the community ain't asking for the world. They just want to be heard and want the quality of life they deserve and want. Not only from the law enforcement aspect, but everything as a whole. For everybody that knows me, I'm friendly. I like to joke around. I show respect. And I have, everybody sees that I have a huge heart. When I'm adamant about something, I let my heart show. I'm here for the long hours, day-to-day work if needed, for the betterment of the Rosebud tribe. I will. There's no threshold on my time to be sitting here, and I understand there's long hours, like Carl Ron said, there's probably long hours, long days. I don't care, and I'm there for it. I'm ready for it. I will not go backwards. We can only move forward. Driving compassion is only to move forward. So whatever's in the past is in the past. On August 27th on Thursday, let's move forward in a good way. Let's move forward in the right way. Just respectfully asking for your support. I'm always here. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm KOYA 3rd. And I'll answer anything respectfully, whether it's good or bad. But that's all I have, and just respectfully asking for your support August 27th for Tree Strike. And good luck to all candidates. Thanks.
Donna Holloway, Tree Strike Community. I'm seeking support also on August 27th. I will be attending all meetings. I will be here for everything that is going on behalf of our Oyate. I like to be a rover to all the other committees when there's not enough quorum. I like to show my respect to each and every one of you, and humbly seeking support also on August 27th. Whether, there's a choice to make, and it's your choice out there. Can't say aye, but I'll say give us a chance. Thank you.
Berlin Wakanigo Machabi, we have a young Katama here. Lakota Wago, Lakota Muscat, Lakota Wama, Chama. It is a privilege to bring together my education, my skills, my work experience, my leadership experience to our members of Rosebud tribe. Dedication and integrity. Let's have a good election and a good Rosebud pick.
Thank you, everyone. Guess we are ready to go home now.
All right, good. Are you guys remember there's some chow back there? I have a one toucher bag for Chris. One toucher bag for you. Yeah. It's the wonder. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris.